Y'all didn't see that. That was the wrong scene. Well, what up, everybody? It's your boy, the Infinite Dragon here, and welcome back to Fate Stay Night. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching an archive stream. Be sure to check me out live. Link is always in the description down below, as well as a link to my Discord, which I will let you know what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, all that good stuff. Where we last left off, we turned on our magical cell phone, and our location was still on, so we got tracked a little bit. It didn't seem it was that much of a problem, but I mean, it is what it is. Ralph, how you doing today, man? Oop. So if you're returning from the last episode, go ahead and hit the like button right now, because you'll forget to do so later, and I'll forget to tell you. You doing good? That's good. Yeah. I guess we're still in the fucking prologue. So today, after breakfast, I lay out my plans for the day.
Nani? 学校に行くだと?
Why would I not go to school?
ええ、何か問題あるかしら、あっちゃ。
問題はないが、しかし、それは。
Asher looks reluctant but doesn't protest. He's spending a whole day with me. He probably understands now that Rin Tosca doesn't go back on her word when she's made up her mind. I can sense his disagreement even if he doesn't voice it, but I also learned that Archer has a sincere side beneath all the sarcasm. He won't whine about a decision he's accepted. Yep, he's loyal and awkward, like that. That's what my intuition, at least after watching him yesterday, says.
リン、マスターになったからには常に敵マスターを警戒しなくてはならない。学校という場は不意の襲撃に備えにくい場所だろう。
そんなことはないけどね。いいあっちゃ。私はマスターになったからって今までの生活を変える気はないわ。それにマスター同士の戦いは人目を避けるものでしょ。それなら。
そうか。リンがそう決めたのなら私は従うだけだ。だが霊体化して君の護衛をするぐらいはいいのだろうな。
当たり前じゃない。
I hate doing that.
学校に限らず外に出るときはそばにいてもらうからね。マスターを守るのもサーバントの役割なんだから。頼りにしてるわ。
それを聞いて安心した。
Was that it? I'm trying to find the settings. There it is. Config. What's my auto button? The A button? Alright.
だがリン、もしもの話だが、その安全な場所に敵がいたとしたらどうする？
何？学校にマスターがいるかもしれないってかて？
そうだ。確かに学び屋には生徒と教師以外は入りにくいが、すでに内部の者がマスターだとしたら厄介ではないのか？
それはないんじゃないかな。この町には魔術師の家系は遠坂のあと一つしかないの。そのあと一つっていう家系は潰れてるし、マスターにもなってないし。
マスターになっていないとどうしてわかる？
あのね、うち以外に魔術師の家系がいるんなら真っ先に確かめるのは当然でしょ。そいつマスターにはなってなかったし、あっちの家系の後継者にはマスターになるだけの魔力がないから無視して構わないわ。
そうか。つまりリンの通う学校にはもう一人魔術師がいるのだな。だがマスターになれるほどの魔力を持ち合わせていないと。
そういうことだから、他のマスターは外からやってくる連中が大半のはず。そんな連中が学校にまでやってくることはないでしょう。
まあ 今の段階ではな。だがリン、何事にも例外は存在する。もし学校に君が知らない魔術師がいたとしたらどうする？
だからいないってば。魔術師っていうのは他の同業に敏感なの。1年も同じ学校にいたらね、どんなに隠してても魔術師の存在は感じ取れる。断言するけど、うちの学校に魔術師は2人しかいないわ。そのうちの1人が私で、もう1人はマスターになるだけの力がない魔術師見習いなの。分かった？アーチャーの用心はただの杞憂よ。そんなこと絶対にありえないんだから。
だからもしもの話だ。物事には常に裏目が存在する。
I like Archer.
本来ありえざることが起こるのもまた運命だ。
He's very clearly experienced and she clearly is not, and that's the dynamic right now.
私に八つ当たりをするのだけは思いとどまってほしいと言っているのだ。
Archer chuckles dryly. His smug attitude already makes me want to do exactly that, but it'll be late for school if I let him keep pushing my buttons.
そんなことあるわけないじゃない。もしもの話っていうのは起きないからもしもの話なのよ。もしそんなことになったら、その時は私の見通しが甘かったってだけなんだから。
よし、確かに聞いたぞ。それでは行こうか、リン。君の学び屋まで30分。そろそろ出なければ間に合わない時間帯だ。
Did she fix the clocks?
驚いた。もしもの話って本当にあるのね。
ああ、私も驚いている。いや、何事もケチをつけておくものだな。
Did we get attacked already?
で役に立った。
This is our exchange the moment we pass through the front gate. It's almost time for homeroom, so there are students on the way to class. All around us. Archer and I stand still like a pillar amid a swirling human sea.
空気がよどんでるどころの話じゃない。これ、もう結界が張られてない？
完全にではないが、すでに準備は始まっているようだな。ここまで派手にやっているということは、よほどの大物か。
Yeah, so we already got under no, I'm not gonna blame Rin for that one because under normal circumstances she would be correct. However, the circumstances are just happen to not be normal. The question now is let's not dwell on it. Let's deal with the situation at hand. What the fuck are we gonna do about it now that someone's attacking us? Or quote unquote attacking us. They set up a barrier. Well, I hope Archer's good in a fight.
とんでもない素人ね。異常を感じさせる結界なんて三流だもの。やるんなら仕掛ける時まで隠し通しておくのが一流よ。
で、君はどちらだと思う？リン。
Barriers can be defensive, I think. I mean, they're supposed to be defensive. That's why I said quote unquote attacking us. Like, if they haven't already sensed us, we're about to walk into this barrier and then they're going to sense us. So no matter what, something's about to go down. And if nothing goes down, that's even more suspicious.
さあ、一流だろうが三流だろうが知ったことじゃないわ。
She's very lax, and I understand why, but it's really frustrating.
私のテリトリーでこんなゲスなもの仕掛けたやつなんて問答無用でぶっ倒すだけよ。
I'll let out an indignant huff as I cross the grounds. Don't know if immediate aggression is smart. I don't think I suggest that. And in fact, that's what Rin said, being like from the anime. Yeah, immediate aggression is not smart. Especially because the Holy Grail has not materialized yet, so there's no reason for you to even do that. You could take out a mage right now, but what's the point? You wouldn't get the Holy Grail because the Holy Grail has not materialized. So, like, that's legitimately pointless. As a mage, there's no sugarcoating it. I won't be satisfied until whoever made this boundary field gets what's coming to them. I'm on my way back to the music room after the second period. I spot a first year floundering in the hallway. She looks like she could use a hand with the large stack of documents she's carrying.
手伝うわ、さくら。遠坂先輩。何、プリント？世界史って言ったらうちの担任じゃない。クズキのやつ、女生徒に使いをさせるなんて何考えてんだか。ほら、半分貸して。あ、はい。ありがとうございます、先輩。
It's not her voice actress. I can tell by the quality of her voice, but she sounds like Hinata.
いいっていいって。それじゃあこれ、さくらのクラスまで
Hinata has a different quality in her voice, but they have the same kind of like soft, what do I want to say? They have the same hush tone.
くずき先生のところです。誤字があったから回収するって言ってました。
Maybe it is. I doubt it is. Let me see. I doubt it's Hinata though, but I'll double check. Her name is Sakura, I think. Live life. Fate. Seems like the most prominent thing they've done was Fate. Azure Lane. She is in Naruto. She plays Moegi Ikazumatsuri in Naruto. She also plays Viola in Pokemon X and Y. Oh, she was Ururu in Bleach. It's mostly Fate. But no, I've confirmed that she is not Hinata.
納得。クズキは融通きかないからね。一つ誤字があったぐらいで試験を中止させるやつだった。試験って学校の試験をですか？そう。あれは去年の中間試験だったかな。みんながガーッとマークシートを塗りつぶしてる時にやってきてね。誤字があるので正しい問題ではなかった。よって試験は中止。後日改めて行うってあの調子で淡々と言ったのよ。私たちも驚いたけど先生方も驚いてね。今でもあれは語り草よ。なんかくずき先生らしいですね。それ先生、ものを教える立場に間違いは許されないって人です。
That's not how living in real life works.
くずきのは度が過ぎてるけどね。さくらもそのうち思い知るわよ。くずきの堅物ぶりったら岩か山かって感じなんだから。遠坂先輩、くずき先生のことが好きなんですね。先輩がそんな風に言うなんて珍しいです。そう？まあ確かにくずきはもうちょっと柔軟性があればなって思うけど。
Then he's alright just the way he is, ultimately. The faculty at our school is made up of both really nice teachers and some really scary ones. It's a delicate balance that Mr. Kazuki is an important part of. He's the stick to the carrot.
まあ2年になればもっとクズキと顔を合わせるようになるわ。あいつは倫理も受け持ってるし。そんなことよりさくら、ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけどいい？何ですか先輩。昨日の話なんだけど、さくら見かけない外国人と話してなかった？見てたんですか先輩。たまたま。それであれ何だったの？知り合い？いいえ、それがよくわからない人だったんです。あの人道に迷ってたみたいでした。いろいろ聞いてくるんだけど何を言ってるのか聞き取れなくて。
Seems suspicious. And that's when she slipped away.
そっか、ごめんなさい。少しだけ気になったから。
She's very direct about that.
いえ、構いません。
I guess she had no reason to suspect anything from her, but
ここまででいいです先輩。あとは届けるだけですから。そう？それじゃあまたね。
in return, I returned the printouts to Sakura, but before I head back to my classroom, I found myself stopping.
さくら、最近はどう？はい、大丈夫。元気です、私。そう。シンジがまた何かやったら言いなさい。あいつはどってものを知らないから、黙っていると悪化する一方よ。心配いりませんよ先輩。兄さん、この頃は優しいんですから。
There isn't much I can say to a smile like that. We say our farewells again, and I leave my underclassman acquaintance. Ah, okay, so I can stop it that way. Let me just check out some of the controls. It'll be easier if I stop auto mode is okay. Alright. The school day is over. The classroom steadily empty, and the campus darkens by the hour. The crimson sun will set soon. Once night falls, there won't be anyone left around.
始めるわよ、あーちゃん。まずは結界の下調べ。どんな結界かを調べてから消すか残すか決めましょう。
I speak to my invisible partner. I feel him nod in acknowledgement. You felt him nod? Boundary fields are meant to protect their casters. You can consider them a terrain-based magecraft formed by weaving magical energy into a net and applying it to the earth to affect the inside of the field. There are countless types of effects they can have, ranging from wards that isolate the area from the outside world to avoid detection, to fields that limit the type of magecraft that can be activated within. The most offensive type suppresses biological functions inside the area of effect. That's insane. And that's what's been applied to the school grounds. There's just no people here in terms of detection. While it isn't finished, everyone in the school will collapse once it's activated. Something like that wouldn't work on me, though. Suppresses biological functions, so that means they pass the fuck out. Okay, got it. I misread that, though. Boundary fields are, after all, targeted at the area I'm in, not me specifically. Such indirect magical interference won't affect the mage with magical energy flowing through her body. Similarly, the electrical charges that flow in the atmosphere won't disturb the electrical currents within my body. That means the boundary field has some other purpose. Whoever it is that put this thing here isn't trying to defeat a master with it. I don't want to believe it, but they're targeting other people within the school. There's only one possible reason for that. It's a thought I can't stomach. After checking all around campus, I finished my search on the roof. It's thoroughly dark outside now. The school gates shut at 6 p.m. and now it's 8 p.m. Archer and I are the only ones left, and Archer's in his spirit form.
これで7つ目か。とりあえずここが起点みたいね。
There are 8 symbols boldly drawn on the rooftop. They're purplish-red marks that only mage can see. I've never seen or heard of sigils like these.
参ったな。これ私の手には負えない。
Whoever set up this boundary field did it recklessly. But while imprudent, the magical working itself is an order of magnitude beyond my own skills. There should be a lot of red flags going off then. I could temporarily erase the energy of the curse, but I have no way to dispel the bounded field itself. All the spellcaster needs to do is supply it with more energy to reactivate the curse effects. Archer doesn't comment. He's probably remained silent since encountering the rooftop sigils because he has too realized their nature. The bounded field does more than drain the victim's stamina. It will literally melt everyone inside once it's turned on. What the fuck? There are bounded fields which rob victims of their life force and spiritual energy. But the spell that's been applied to the school ground is on a whole different level. This is no less than a soul eater, a blood fort which melts human bodies inside and forcibly collects their souls that ooze out. Since antiquity, souls have been difficult to handle. They're theorized to exist and are considered to be necessary components of magecraft, but only one mage has proven their existence. Our definition of soul stops at that which examines within and that which is transferred between vessels. To not only extract souls, but then capture them in one place, it defies comprehension. What's a mage supposed to do with a bunch of energy we can't even convert? So if I had to think about a purpose for it...
アーチャー、あなたたちってそういうもの?
It comes out colder than I intended.
ご推察の通りだ。我々は基本的に霊体だと言っただろう。故に、食事は第二。ないし第三要素となる。
So they're trying to feed their own. You're gonna use this to feed their own servant. At least that's what it seems like.
君たちが肉を栄養とするように、サーバントは精神と魂を栄養とする。栄養を取ったところで基本的な能力は変わらないが、取り入れれば取り入れるほどタフになる。つまり。
Hello, Rockball.
魔力の貯蔵量が上がっていくというわけだ。
He's right. The way to make your own servant stronger is to indiscriminately attack human beings.
マスターから提供される魔力だけじゃ足りないってこと？
足りなくはないが、大いに越したことはない。実力が劣る場合、弱点を武士で補うのが戦争だろ。周囲の人間からエネルギーを奪うのはマスターとしては基本的な戦略だ。そういった意味で言えば、この結界は効率がいい。
Archer's saying that I should murder people to take their power if I want to win. It's so simple. I've always known this to be true, and I know it's the path I'm supposed to walk.
それ、勘に触るわ。二度と口にしないで、アーチャー。
Staring at the sigils, I make my stance clear. Oddly, Archer sounds just as put off.
同感だ。私も真似をするつもりはない。
His answer comes firm and resolute.
さて、それじゃ消そうか。無駄だろうけど、とりあえず邪魔をするぐらいにはなる。
I approach the sigil and extend my left hand. The magic crest engraved on my arm is like a grimoire passed down to the Tosca line. Tosaka, that's how they pronounced it. The mental switch is flicked. I pass magical energy through the magic crest, load a verse of bounded field erasure, take a deep breath, and activate it. I then send a pulse of magical energy via my left hand. I should wash away the sigil for now.
なんだよ、消しちまうのか？もったいねえ。
Suddenly, a third voice chimes in while I'm casting the spell. I whirl around. A man is perched on top of the water tower, some 10 meters above, looking down at me. He's clad in deep blue that blends into the night. His mouth is drawn into a grin and has a bestial air about him. The beast... slow down! Wait! No! Wait! Hold on! Didn't you say that the stop button was... Oh, what the fuck? Who's this fuck's face? It's fake-ass Virgil. The beast's gaze is sharp and clear. In this bizarre situation, the man in blue watches me as if he's greeting a friend he hasn't seen in a decade. So was it O or what? Hold on. It's the number O or 0, not the letter O. Got it. So let's try that again. Yeah, it's the number 0.
俺たちはただ命じられたまま戦うのみ。だろ？そこの兄さんよ。
His tone is lethal yet carefree. This man can see Archer.
やっぱりサーバント。
そうとも。で、それがわかるお嬢ちゃんは俺の敵ってことでいいのかな。
My spine tenses. The man's voice is detached and nonchalant, but it's colder than anyone I've ever heard. So scary, it's nauseating. What's the best move here? I don't know. Your best move is to summon Archer, but the brain isn't working enough to tell me I must absolutely not fight him. Huh.
ほう、大したもんだ。何もわからねえようで要点は抑えてやがる。ああ、失敗したなこりゃ。面白がって声をかけるんじゃなかったぜ。
Run, Force Run. The man raises an arm. It appears in a flash. Once an empty hand now holds. A scarlet 2-meter-long weapon. My legs throw me to the side before I can think. There isn't time to even hesitate about jumping off the roof. Oh my god! With all my might, I make a mad dash for the fence, intending to barrel right through it. I cyclone lifts my hair into the air. It is by the skin of my teeth. In that instant, something slices through the space I was just in, tearing the fence apart with it. A blue whirlwind pursues me. There's no way out. The fence is behind me, my flanks are cut off. I won't make it. I react swiftly. My magic crest surges to life so I can weave a single count Minecraft. The spell lightens mass and manipulates gravity. Light as a feather, my body bounds into the air. And I jump over the fence and plummet off the roof. Air resistance and gravity push and pull along my body. It's about 15 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds away. Too slow, he's going to catch up to me. I let Archer absorb the shock of the landing and break into a dash as soon as we touch down. I couldn't stay on that rooftop. We need less cramped arena from which to maneuver freely. A battlefield without obstacle where Archer and I can truly shine. It takes me less than 7 seconds to escape from the roof into the schoolyard. A distance of over 100 meters, crossing at a pace no normal person can manage, much less clearly see. And yet...
いや、本気でいい足だ。ここで仕留めるのはいささかもったいなさすぎるか。
Against a servant, it's a wasted effort. At the same time I draw back, Archer materializes before me. It's cloudy night. Archer's hand grips a short sword that faintly reflects the moonlight.
Hey.
The man's lips twist into an ominous sneer.
いいね。そう来なくっちゃ。話が早いやつは嫌いじゃない。
The whirlwind howls. It's the weapon he swung at me on the rooftop, a spear of blood like crimson that came mercilessly for my head.
ランサーのサーバント。
いかにも、そういうあんたのサーバントはセイバー。って感じじゃねえな。何者だ、てめえ。
Gone is his carefree ease from a moment ago. Archer stays silent, facing off against Lancer's unconcealed bloodlust. There's just under 5 meters between them. Lancer's weapon is nearly 2 meters long. It doesn't feel like this beast of a man is going to be deterred by a mere 3-meter difference.
まっとうな一騎打ちをするタイプじゃねえな、てめえは。ってことは、アーチャーか。
Damn, you can just tell that by looking at him? He's got a short sword in his hand and everything. Archer doesn't take the bait. An unusual clash of blue and red stare each other down. Two knights, somewhat similarly dressed, mutually calculate the other's demise.
いいぜ。好みじゃねえが、出会ったからにはやるだけだ。そら、獲物を出せよ、アーチャー。
You know what else is 2 meters? Your ego?
これでも礼はわきまえているからな。それぐらいは待ってやる。
Archer does not answer. His back, as steely as a sword, seems to convey that. He must not have anything to say to someone he must defeat. That's when I realize it. I'm such a fool. Archer was waiting for my word.
Archer?
I call out to him without getting any closer.
手助けはしないわ。あなたの力、ここで見せて。
Was that a laugh? The Red Knight surges forward, his lips curled in response. Wind swirls. A scarlet bullet flies forth, blade in hand. A blue spear thrust intercepts him. If the charging archer is a gust of wind, then the spear tip that rises to meet him is a divine storm. Shrieking blades, elegant parries. Archer is put on the defense, fending off the swift thrust with his short sword. The man in red is stopped in his tracks. His advance denied by the enemy. He can't even breach the 2-meter coverage of the spear. A polearm wielder can control his opponent's range. He's a mid-range fighter, bro. You gotta get in close if you're gonna use a short sword. He's mid-range. But that means he's slow, which means you gotta be able to get him to swing and make a mistake, and that way you can jump in, you can pounce on him. Lancer, with his nearly 2-meter reach, needs to simply engage his foe whenever he comes within range. It's easier for him to stab an advancing opponent than it is for him to go after Archer himself. Well, that means you have to taunt him. Despite this, Lancer closes the distance himself and presses the attack, all while keeping Archer from advancing further. Lancer's snell is firing. With each thrust, Lancer closes in, the assault never letting up for a second. Moving in too close is suicide for a spear wielder. The advantage of a spear is the ability to control the enemy's position. Lancer shouldn't have a chance if he keeps closing in. That's only according to the conventional wisdom. Unerring and unceasingly, Lancer's spear seeks to pierce Archer's throat, shoulder, forehead, heart. The strikes are too swift to even leave an afterimage. It's so fast it doesn't leave an afterimage. That's crazy. Archer is forced to parry, block, or evade every move with the spear. Any strike, if true, would be a mortal blow. Still, Archer is a serpent, even if he specializes below. He won't be brought down so easily by mundane attacks. The thrust at his forehead is quickly batted aside, and Archer renews his charge in spite of Lancer's spear. One might think that swordplay is all there is to Archer's attacks, but he's exploiting a weakness of spear tactics. Against the spear's considerable reach, neither retreat nor evasion are viable defenses for long. A half-hearted withdrawal isn't enough to get out of range, while probing attacks will lead to evisceration. A reckless charge will simply end and implement in what? A reckless charge will similarly end in implemented impalement. Impalement. The word is impalement. A reckless charge will similarly end in impalement at the end of the spear's range. Archer and Lancer move more or less the same physical stature. Without heavy armor, it's difficult for Archer to penetrate the lethal storm of Lancer's attack's radius. But Lancer's strikes are a different story. High-speed thrusts intended to pierce vital points are indeed terrifying. But each strike has a set trajectory, target. If one can predict these, then there's ways to avoid harm. Just as Archer is doing, one can block these strikes aimed at vital points or just barely avoid their arcs to create safe openings. Lancer probably underestimated him as a range specialist. The advantage of a long weapon is the generous range at which one can engage the opponent. But giving that up, Lancer has assured his... The man in red stops in his tracks. I watch as the nighttime. I watch that nightmare unfold as if time is rewinded. Lancer's attacks become even faster than before. Archer's short sword is knocked aside as he twists to avoid being skewered. Lancer's spear doesn't allow a retreat, or rather, his endless attacks are so fierce and sharp that even servants are doomed against them. We were the ones who underestimated our enemy. That servant, that Lancer and his spear can't be described in mundane martial terms. Who could possibly survive such a relentless barrage? He beats a desperate retreat while parrying strikes, creating slightly more distance between the fighters. In that moment, Lancer steps into a gap and unleashes an even more ferocious attack. The storm of attacks is a little different from what he's already been doing, but their execution is truly godlike. They've already clashed 10 times. No, it's actually several more times than that. They watch Dragon Ball Z for sure. The torrent of spear strikes increase in intensity and number, threatening to take Archer's life 1,000 times over. It isn't even a change of speed, but precision. At a steady pace, Lancer's spear comes down on Archer like a waterfall. How can Archer get inside his guard? With such a short weapon, all he can do is defend against the spear. He has no way to close in on Lancer. In fact, he's being forced backwards. The steel vacuum stretches out. I should be backing Archer up, but the right words die in my throat. My magecraft isn't easy to aim precisely. I risk hitting Archer too if he can't get far enough away from... What? I risk hitting Archer too if he can't get far away enough from Lancer. Meanwhile, Lancer's advantage will only deepen. And to be honest, I'm captivated by their duel. So this is a battle between servants. The Holy Grail World is a battle between familiars of the highest order, heroic spirits, being that we mages can't begin to approach. Servants. Familiars divided among 7 classes and roles, serving 7 masters. Supreme familiars called forth by the Holy Grail itself. Familiar is really a misnomer form. Familiars are supposed to be subservient minions who act on behalf of a mage. Normally, you'd imagine something like Puss in Boots, an elegant white bird, or a disobedient black dog, something like that. Those sorts of familiars are what a typical mage can manage to command. Familiars are just that, from the Latin for menial servant. It's inconceivable that a mascot used for menial labor would be stronger than its master. Servants are a different story. They're quite literally the most powerful examples of humanity. Even the 5 magicians wouldn't be able to control them. It's difficult to summon a servant, but not because servants are more powerful than mages. Servants are beings that surpass magecraft itself. To be clear, servants are heroes of the past. Myths, legends, fables, histories. We call the glorious superhumans from our traditions heroes, whether the tales are true or not. Immortalized by what humanity says about them, they cease to be merely human after death and ascend to something greater. People who work miracles, who save the multitudes, who accomplish great feats, are elevated to the status of heroes, either in life or after death. Archetypes, chat! They're talking about archetypes! They become the type of elemental we call heroic spirits, guardians of the human race. It doesn't matter whether they were historical people or characters from mythology. Heroes are created by thoughts of the people. We imagine them as idols we wish they were and treat them as if they were real. Objective truth is irrelevant. Fame and faith are sufficient to give form to these legends. They're humanity's ultimate ideals and greatest among them. Us. Among us? That's what it means to be a hero and a heroic spirit. Naturally, it's impossible for a mere human to control something greater than human. What mages usually do is borrow a portion of their power and imitate their feats. Summoning a complete heroic spirit is impossible. Yet the Holy Grail makes it possible. It allows us to summon these spirits in the flesh and even bind them to our command. The sheer absurdity of it proves the Grail's omnipotence. That's how heroic spirits are summoned from across time, whether from the age of gods or as recent as a century ago. The 7 heroic spirits serve and protect their 7 masters, and each master sends their servants out to defeat enemy masters. It's a deathmatch between heroes of every age and every land. That's the story behind the ritual we call the Holy Grail War. I expect to see some fucking people of color then that aren't just Japanese. Of course, there are limits to what the Grail can do. Even the Holy Grail can't indiscriminately summon mythic beings akin to elementals. Wouldn't it be crazy if we just found Jesus? Just as form created by the people and people is required to materialize the 6th theoretical factor known as demons. Heroic spirits need material form to operate in this world. What does that say? Just as form created by the people is required to materialize the 6th theoretical factor known as demons. That was a lot of gibberish to say demons exist. This is their temporary label and the way they're allowed to exist in this world. The Holy Grail provides vessels that heroic spirits can easily materialize in, called classes. Now, only heroic spirits that fit in these classes can be summoned. A class is like a passport that lets a heroic spirit visit the modern era to act as a familiar. It's a material vessel that they temporarily possess. There are 7 masters and 7 heroic spirits to serve them. Each is assigned one of 7 classes. Saber, the Knight of the Sword. Lancer, the Knight of the Spear. Archer, the Knight of the Bow. Rider, the Cavalier. Caster, the Mage. Assassin, the Silent Killer. Berserker, the Mad Warrior. Only heroic spirits with attributes corresponding to 7 classes can be summoned to the modern world, and they become servants whom masters command. That's the servant system. Humans summon and make contracts with heroic spirits beyond our ability to handle, all in hopes of winning the miracle beyond our ken. It's the greatest of battles that can only happen here in this land, like no other Holy Grail war. The duel reaches an even higher pitch. The short sword goes flying from Archer's hand and after blocking one of Lancer's strikes. Lancer's skill is consummate. A seemingly straight thrust suddenly whipped into a disarming arc at Archer's wrist. It was an attack that Archer couldn't have avoided even if he saw it coming. There isn't an effective way to parry the spear with his sword. The forceful block is countered with an even keener strike, while defending with minimal force will never create an opening to exploit. The clash between sword and spear is shaping up an intense struggle to defeat an enemy outside of Archer's reach. There's no hesitation at Lancer, even as he taunts Archer. He pauses from the constant pressure he puts on Archer. Does he intend to settle the duel in an instant? Lancer takes a firmly rooted stance, trading a fiery glare with the now unarmed Archer. It happens in an instant. In the span of a breath, Lancer looses a flurry of blows that's no less than a flash of light, imperceptible. Forehead, neck, and heart. The spear moves to skewer all three. And yet, another flash of light counters the first that I couldn't even follow. Archer's hand grabs the short sword once more. Like the weapon he used earlier, it's a Chinese sword not dissimilar to a cleaver. But the greatest difference between them is... blade and blade. In each hand, he grips a sword, each clearly meant to complement the other. So I made my computer wallpaper Archer, and I was very confused to see that he had a sword. Because his name's fucking Archer, but I guess he just has that. I guess he's just like that then. Lancer's spears sing through the air. It becomes even faster, as if to herald Archer's certain death. The duel becomes a symphony of clashing blades. The two steel instruments play a resounding chorus, sparks of their conflict rising to a never-ending crescendo. Their battle is like a vacuum. It sucks in all the air around it, making it feel like I'll be cut if I even dare to approach. It all happened in an instant, really. But as I watched it with bated breath, the moment seemed to stretch on. Lancer keeps his foe out of his fatal pocket, while Archer attempts to close the gap with his shield of dual swords. They've clashed over 100 times already, Archer losing a weapon each time. How does he get the weapon back? But instantly, another sword appears in Archer's empty hands, and Lancer is slightly driven back each time. Lancer finally acknowledges his miscalculation. He has no idea who he's fighting. It would be a mistake to keep dismissing his opponent as opponent. A space opens up between them. Lancer puts significant distance between them. Maybe he intends to start over. That agility isn't normal. Archer's charge defies human ability, and he's sluggish next to Lancer. The swiftness of Lancer's retreat has the speed and grace of a leopard.
27. それだけ弾き飛ばしてもまだあるとはな。
Lancer sounds irritated. Actually, he sounds more confused than upset. I feel the same way. According to my father, servants typically only have one weapon. They're supposed to be singular relics of unimaginable power, not expendable items to be drawn over and over, like what Archer's doing. Servants are heroes with spiritual rank and elevated to magnitude of elementals or divine spirits after death. In a way, they're not unlike angels and demons. They're powerful familiars on their own, but their greatest strength is the mightiest weapons that prove they're heroes. We call these magic items noble phantasms. They are the favorite weapon or armor that a servant used while it was a living hero, and it's literally the servant's secret weapon. To a servant, a noble phantasm is a one-of-a-kind armament. It's the servant's indispensable ultimate weapon as well. The same goes for Lancer's spear. It can exhibit its power as a noble phantasm if he chooses to. If he so chooses. The noble phantasm is a formidable weapon on its own, but its true power is expressed by evoking its true name. That's kind of badass. Heroes' weapons are known to have slain dragons and gods to have conquered the earth. Servants activate noble phantasms with their own magical energy. It's not unlike magecraft, actually. Servants use their noble phantasms as catalysts to recreate the destruction from the legends. A noble phantasm is most certainly not a disposable tool. Archer has produced dozens of swords by now. Each seems like a masterwork unto itself, but they surely can't be his noble phantasm. He's an archer, after all. His secret weapon must be some kind of bow.
どうしたランサー？様子見とは君らしくないな。先ほどの勢いはどこに行った？
タヌキが減らず口を叩きやがるか。
The cause of Lancer's irritation is obvious. Lancer has been fighting as a spearman, while Archer has been defending off as a swordsman. Meaning that Archer hasn't revealed his cards yet. That must be frustrating to deal with.
いいぜ、聞いてやるよ。てめえどこの英雄だ？二頭使いの旧兵なぞ聞いたことがない。
そういう君は分かりやすいな。僧兵には最速の英雄が選ばれるというが、君はその中でもえりすぐりだ。これほどの宗師は世界に3人といまい。加えて獣のごとき敏捷さといえばおそらく1人。
ほう、よく言ったアーチャー。
For a moment, the bloodlust is so strong I forget to breathe. Lancer's arms move. It's a deliberate stance without any of the nonchalance he's shown thus far. Bro hit that stance. He was ready. His spear tip dips as if to puncture the ground, but Lancer's eyes bore straight through Archer.
ならば食らうか。我が必殺の一撃を。
止めはしない。いずれ越えねばならぬ敵だ。
Lancer lowers his stance. Simultaneously, a thorny, bitter cold overtakes the schoolyard. Hello, Louise. The air freezes. I don't mean that metaphorically. It's literally ice cold. All the men in the atmosphere freezes solid. Only the warrior Lancer is allowed to breathe in this space. The spear in Lancer's hands is undoubtedly magical. Its true form eager to burst forth. Oh boy. He's going to unleash his domain expansion. He's going to die. I don't know what kind of normal phantasm that is, but Archer is fucked. It's the first time I've had this kind of premonition, and it's hard as it is to believe. I don't doubt it for a second. If Lancer unleashes his spear, Archer will die. That's absolutely certain. As Lancer says, his spear means death. Archer will lose. Lancer will stab him through the heart, and he'll die. Despite that, despite these premonitions, despite this insight, I can't even help Archer. I feel like as if I so much as lift a finger, I'll signal the beginning of the end. If there's a way to prevent Archer's death, then it can only be the sudden appearance of a third party whom we've all overlooked. Lance's ferocity disappears. I hate the sound of someone running away. From behind, I can clearly make out a school uniform.
生徒、まだ学校に残ってたの？
そのようだな。おかげで命拾いしたが。
Archer answers coolly. Sure enough, the interruption did save our skin.
失敗した。ランサーに気を取られて周りの気配に気づかなかった。で、アーチャー、あんた何してんの？
Hold on, my eye. Ugh. Huh.
見てわからないか。手が空いたから休んでいる。
What, did he just sit on the ground or something?
なわけないでしょ。ランサーはどうしたのよ。
He's gonna say, what about Lancer?
さっきの人影を追ったよ。目撃者だからな。おそらく消しに行ったのだろう。
For a moment, my thoughts grind to a halt.
追ってアーチャー。私もすぐに追いつくから。
Archer pursues Lancer immediately.
くそ、なんて間抜け。
I curse my own negligence. It's standard mage policy to eliminate a witness. Until now, I've been careful not to allow anyone to see me as a mage to avoid that scenario. What did have to happen today of all days? What's so significant about today that I had to hit like, come on now. The night feels oppressive, not letting even the moonlight through. I find Archer standing over a body of a student collapsed on the floor of a terribly cold hallway. He looks wordlessly down at the student. I know it reaches my nose. The sight of pooling blood makes me realize the smell of death.
追ってアーチャー。ランサーはマスターのところに戻るはず。 せめて相手の顔ぐらい把握しないと割が合わない。
Archer goes off after Lancer. Only the fallen student and I remain in the corridor. I can't look him in the eye, but I have to. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. Since I was young, since I made up my mind to inherit the Tosaka legacy, I've been prepared for this. Mages aren't governed by good and evil. I've known all along that this path would be a bloody one.
ランサーの槍で一突きか。心臓やられてちゃ助からない。
I don't know how many seconds ago Lancer killed him. It's just a matter of whether he was unlucky enough to get stabbed through the heart. The blood loss isn't as bad as I would expect it from a destroyed heart, so maybe the injury isn't too deep. There's no way that he's not fucking dead. You saw how he was going at it with Archer? No, that motherfucker is cooked. It might not be too bad, but he's still screwed if blood has been cut off of his brain. So, yeah, if his heart was wrecked, then he would have died instantly.
その割にはまだ死んでないってのはすごいな。
Nah, bro, Lancer cooked him. Get out of here with this. It's hard to hear, but just barely. My ears pick up a faint breathing that might what? My ears pick up a faint breathing that might be a death rattle. It won't last more than a few seconds. I don't have the power to save him. I don't even have a way to heal him of my own wounds.
顔を見ないと。それぐらいはしなくちゃ。
I start to reach for the face of the prone figure when I realize my fingers won't move. They're shaking. But why? I'm used to this. I've made this choice countless times. I've lost so much thanks to my own mistakes, my own selfishness. That's why I've always been ready for this day to come. Then why am I so angry at myself?
ごめんね。見とるぐらいはしてあげる。
I use cold logic to still my trembling fingers and legs and check the fallen student's face. A great weight falls onto me. I feel like I've just been struck by a hammer.
やめてよね。なんだってあんたが。
I grind my teeth. No longer to brace myself against the shaking. Because I'm truly angry. Why did it have to be him? Why him especially? I'm not upset with Lancer for silencing a witness as a servant should. But at school today of all days, at this hour, you fool, why would be you of all people? Sakura's face comes to mind. I'm sure she'll cry. I find myself recalling a day after school some years ago. The sky glowed a distant red. Boy that always ran. A silly little girl watched him absently from afar. That boy got involved in something he shouldn't have, and now his corpse is in front of me. There's still a way. If I fail, I might lose my trump card, but there's a way to save him. I'll lose it whether this works or not, so the outcome is the same to me. This is a mistake. His impending death is a foregone conclusion. It's my fault for not paying enough attention to what's happening around me, and his fault for having the dumb luck to be here tonight. There's no need for me to go this far for him. My father, who left me with nothing to remember him by, did in fact leave me this heirloom to help me. It's a massive store of magical energy meant to be a trump card that helps me win this war. A precious, precious treasure just for...
だからなんだってのよ、バカ。
Turn my back and kneel by the dying boy. The pendant in my hand gets lighter. My father's keepsake is nearly empty with a clink. I drop it on the guy who was a second away from becoming a corpse. Who is this?
まあ、仕方ないか。
There really was no other way. I don't have the power or skill to bring someone back to life, especially not someone with a destroyed heart, damaged blood vessels, and brain death mere seconds away. All I can do is patch up his missing parts with brute force.
まだ息があるのが運の尽きだった。完全に死んでいたら、どんなに魔力の蓄えがあっても蘇生なんてできなかったし。
But if he's still alive, then I just need to help him the best I can.
失敗してたら目も当てられなかったけど、成功したからいっか。ええ、正直に言えば充実感あるしね。こういう経験も悪くはなかったわ。
No, really, I'm lying to myself.
行こう。済んだことは済んだこと。こいつが目を覚ます前に帰らないと。
Yeah, there isn't any point hanging around. Archer's off tailing Lancer, so I should just go home. On the way home, I remember. I left my father's memento at school, though it's just a pendant with all of its magic energy wrung dry.
もういいか。
I don't suppose I need it anymore. You should probably grab that. Might have a little bit of energy left in it, but it's less than 10 gemstones I'm carrying. What Father wanted was for me to have enough magical energy to win the Holy Grail War. Now that I've used that resource up, its container doesn't mean much. I arrive home without announcing my return and plop down on the sofa. Archer still isn't back yet. I give a tired sigh and listen to the clock tick for a few minutes.
いい加減頭を切り替えなくちゃ。あれだけの戦いを経験しておいて、何ほうけてるんだ私。
I jumped on my feet and mixed some black tea. I have plenty to think about. The servant we encountered most of all. I finally watched a battle between servants, which until today I'd only known about through books.
ランサーか。宝具を使われそうになった時は焦ったけど、実際使ってたら正体は分かったのよね。
Learning a servant's identity is key to defeating a servant. With the exception of the idiot who doesn't know his own name, a servant's greatest weakness is their identity. Once you learn a servant's name and identity, then you can mostly deduce the heroic spirit's noble phantasm. It goes without saying that since servants and heroic spirits that have legends associated with them, unraveling their history can reveal a lot about their abilities. Masters address servants by their class names to hide their true names. The more famous a hero, the more likely their weapons and weaknesses are to be known. A heroic spirit who's become a servant will never willingly divulge their identity. That knowledge is reserved only for their master. There's a tacit understanding that a master conceals their own servant's identity while trying to figure out the identities of other servants, including this one. There have been 5 Holy Grail Wars thus far. Each servant's quality depends on the caliber of the summoned heroic spirit. Naturally, a famous hero, one with a legendary weapon, is powerful. Accordingly, it's difficult to summon such heroic spirits. For that, a summoner needs a connection to a heroic spirit that they're summoning, such as a weapon the hero wielded during their lifetime. Even if the mage association with all its resources has a few such items in its possession. I read that incorrectly, but move on. That's why most mages, myself included, summon a heroic spirit whom we have an affinity with. A servant's strength is determined by the caliber of the heroic spirit, or so the logic goes. But reality isn't so clear-cut. Even a superior heroic spirit might struggle when the classes in play aren't favorable. I'm gonna summon Abraham Lincoln. You have a connection with Abraham Lincoln, Rocket Pal? You have something in common with a 7-foot hairy president? I got a penny in my pocket. Nice, nice. All the connection you need, really. Class-specific abilities can have large impact on the outcome of battle. Each of the 7 classes comes with additional abilities, and the interaction between these can allow one to triumph over a stronger opponent. To continue the example, it's said that great heroes were defeated by lesser-known heroes in each of the previous 4 wars. As far as I know, the best servant's class is Saber. Saber fought until the very end in each of the last 4 wars. Saber, Lancer, and Archer have said to have powerful magic resistance. Magecraft isn't effective against these 3 classes. After all, they're warriors from ages of myth and legend when magic is still prevalent. Spells cast by modern mages would probably fizzle on contact. That's why the first 3 classes are generally considered the most desirable. The other class to watch out for is Berserker. Heroic spirits summoned by the class lose their sanity. As the name suggests, they become crazed warriors and puppets of their masters, but are strengthened beyond the powers they had in life. It's also worth noting that the stronger the servant is, the greater its burden on its master. In the past, masters who drew berserkers couldn't control their servants, and ultimately self-destructed due to running out of magical energy. No exceptions. In the vast majority of cases, Holy Grail wars are won by the summoned servant's abilities. Of course, there are plenty of ways for masters to win battles, but it basically comes down to fighting between servants. That's why a master needs to commit the utmost diligence and effort in summoning a servant. Discontented, I decide to come up with projections for the battle to come. Before long, it's 11 p.m. Yes, I fixed the clocks already. Archer comes home. Oh, sorry. Yes, I fixed the clocks already. Archer comes home.
おかえりなさい。成果はどう？
すまない。失敗した。よほど用心深いマスターだったのだろう。少なくとも、こちら側の町にはランサーのマスターはいなかった。
Lancer was all alone and his master didn't seem the type to show themselves.
そう。まあ、簡単にはいかないわよね。
Everything can't go according to plan. So there's no use worrying over it. I'll just give up and treat tonight as a learning experience.
覇気がないな、マスター。いつもの威勢はどうした？まさか、先の一戦でおじけづいた。というのはなしだぞ。君が命じるのなら、今すぐにでもランサーとの再戦に赴いてもいい。
Archer doesn't say it, but I can tell he thinks that's the right course of action. I must look pretty depressed right now, huh?
そんなわけないでしょ。私が打って出ないのはね、単に無駄手間をしたくないだけなんだから。
無駄手間をしたくない？
だって、まだマスターの数が揃ってないでしょ。今夜のはやむなしだったけど、開戦の合図があるまで戦わないわ。それが聖杯戦争のルールだって父さんは言ってたし。
そうか。君の父親もマスターだったのか。
Usher nods at understanding. Actually, he's making a rather mixed expression.
何よ、何か言いたいことでもあるの？あんた。
ああ、一つ聞き忘れていた。リン、君は幼い頃からマスターになるべく育てられ、それに従ってきたのだろう。つまり、初めからマスターになることを予想していたわけだ。
当たり前じゃない。それはいきなりマスターに任命される魔術師もいるそうだけど、私は別よ。遠坂の人間にとって聖杯戦争は何代も前からの悲願なんだから。
そうだろう。なら目的が塔にあるはずだ。私はそれを聞き忘れていた。主の望みを知らなければ私も剣を預けられない。
What if someone summons 2 servants? Who knows? I assume that's never happened before because summoning 1 servant apparently takes a lot of magical energy, so someone have to be like built different in order for that to be the case.
リン、それで君の願いは何だ？
願い？そんなの別にないけど。
何？
She's making a funny face.
そんなはずはあるまい。聖杯とは願いを叶える万能の杯だ。マスター
I wish for the Holy Grail world to never
手に入
happen.
れるということ。だというのに、叶える願いがないとはどういうことだ？
Archer drops all pretense. Right. Once the Holy Grail is won, the victorious master's wish has nothing to do with the servant. But that's weird. Father mentioned that servants have their own wishes too, but that's their own business. It shouldn't matter to Archer whether or not I have a wish. Is it weird to think that he cares about you, man?
明確な望みがないのであれば、漠然とした願いはどうだ。例えば世界を手にするといった風な。
なんで？世界なんてとっくに私のものじゃない。
Wow.
あのね、アーチャー。世界ってのはつまり自分を中心とした価値観でしょ？そんなものは生まれた時から私のものよ。そんな世界を支配しろって言うんなら、私はとっくに世界を支配している。
Wow. Archer looks at me with a strange expression. Yeah, me too, bitch. Man, he's stubborn.
バカな。聖杯とは望みを叶える力。現実の世界を手にできる力だぞ。それを求めるというのに何も望まないというのか、君は。
だって世界征服もめんどくさいし、そんな無駄なことを願っても仕方がないでしょ。あなた割と想像力が貧困ね。
That's not what he asked you.
理解に苦しむな。それでは何のために戦う？
That's what he's asking you.
そこに戦いがあるからよ、ハーちゃん。ついでにもらえるものはもらっておく。聖杯がなんだかは知らないけど、いずれ欲しいものができたら使えばいいだけでしょ。人間生きていれば欲しいものなんて限りないんだし。
I suppose not, but that makes it much harder to fight.
つまり君は。
ええ。ただ勝つために戦うの、あっちゃん。
Archer sighs and shrugs. Maybe he's fed up with me, but he finally relaxes.
参った。確かに君は私のマスターにふさわしい。
I don't know how to respond to comments like that, so I wish he'd stop making them.
サーバントにマスターを選ぶ権利はないけど、一応聞いとく。なんで私があなたのマスターにふさわしいのよ。
言うまでもない。君は間違いなく最強のマスターだ。使える相手としてこれ以上のものはない。
he was down with the fuck shit. Oh, you just wanna fight? Shit, fuck it.
あなたに言われるなら世辞ってわけじゃなさそうだし。
I turn away to hide my embarrassment. Archer usually acts like a smartass, so this sincerity is blindsiding me. Admittedly, I'm happy he feels this way. I've come to trust him, and he's come to trust me. I don't think this mutual sentiment is a bad thing.
さて、ならば一息入れようか。7人目のマスターが現れるにせよ、それは今すぐというわけでも。と、ちょっと待て、リン。君。
I mean, Archer noticed immediately.
飾りってペンダントのこと？はあ、あれなら忘れてきちゃった。もう何の力もないものだし。
She's incredibly careless, and I don't like. I mean, she'll probably grow out of that, but good lord.
君がそう言うならいいが。
ええ、父さんの形見だけど、別に思い出はあれだけってわけじゃない。
よくはない。そこまで強くあることはないだろう、リン。
As he nags me, Archer holds out the pendant I left at school. Ah!
拾いに行ってくれたんだ、あーちゃん。
No, that's weird. This is sus. Not sus in like a bad way, but that's suspicious. The fact that he has some kind of ability that allows him to teleport things to his hands, which is kind of badass, I'm not gonna lie. But consider the fact that he like dropped a bunch of he got disarmed. What did he say? 47 times, 27 times. He got disarmed 27 times, but always had a sword. So I guess the fact that he knew what it was allows him. He knows what it is. So it allows him to teleport to his hands, which is really fucking cool. I like that power.
もう忘れるな。それはリンにしか似合わない。
Archer avoids eye contact as he passes the pendant to me, looking almost bashful.
そう。じゃあ、ありがとう。
I accept it. To be honest, I'm not sure whether to be embarrassed or play it off right now. The pen is as I left it, as I thought. It really doesn't have any energy left. It's just an expensive jewel now that it's empty. But to put it in Archer's terms, maybe it still has meaning as a memento of my father, even without its power. I suppose I could laugh at this off as a net win, since I spent my trump card to save someone else's life. I jolted up in my seat. I wasn't thinking straight while I lamented what I lost, but I pulled myself together. It strikes me. He saw us, so I ought to alter his memories. See? Meanwhile, Lancer's prioritized eliminating the witness over fighting us. Lancer's thinking should reflect that of his master, which means if a master who went out of his way to kill a witness finds out that he survived. I stand up from the sofa. It's already been 3 hours. I might not make it in time. But I can't let this happen, not after the trouble I went through. I sprint through the night. Fortunately, I know where he lives. Not because I bothered to find out, but because someone I happen to know goes over to his place often. I've never been there personally.
まったく余計な苦労を背負おうとしているぞ、君は。
Archer grabs unenthusiastically. It's going to be as much of a struggle to rescue the guy now as it is to save him earlier. It's midnight. The sky shrouded in clouds. I arrived at the old samurai estate. An unold, but the building closest to the outside shows no signs of life. There aren't many neighboring houses, so it's unlike anyone who come here, even if they noticed something was amiss. I read that incorrectly. My breathing mist white. The wind picks up. It must be pretty strong because the clouds are starting to move. I find myself trembling despite the temperate Fuyuki weather, and chill runs down my spine. People call Fuyuki a warm place, but you can feel the winter chill from the hilltops. The air is bitingly cold. The chill presses in and makes it hard to hear. In the midst of the air that seems conquered by the cold, I keenly sense an enemy. I bite my lip. Ow. Something's on the other side of this outer wall. Lancer must have already infiltrated the house, waiting for its witless owner to come home to its death. Just as I'm about to order Archie to go in. That looked bad. The house emerges a radiant white light, bright as the sun. Its presence is all-consuming. The power radiating from Lancer is being washed away by the newcomer's even greater aura. An instantaneous explosion of ether gives the spirit physical form, and the summoned being overpowers Lancer. All I can do is whisper and all, but the truth is staring me right in the face. As if to prove the point, Lancer bounds over the wall, fleeing the compound. So the homie just summoned a servant on accident or something? Yep. Archer's calm. Meanwhile, my rational thought goes flying out the window. What happens next should be obvious, but I'm not thinking straight. There's a strong gust of wind. Clouds cover the sky like an umbrella. Darkness shrouds the lightless outskirts of the town. A servant leaps over the wall and lands gracefully like an unworldly bird. Archer reacts. I fail to even twitch in response. That's my fault. Fight ends before even a second passes. 1 second might have been brief instant to me, but in the massive opening to a servant. But it's a massive opening to a servant. A blade of wind closes in on me. Archer lunges in front of me, while the servant cuts him deeply. It really was just an instant. I'm not gonna read that out loud. It's Archer, who's so gracefully fending off Lance's brutal assault, going down in one hit. I made it in time. Before the servant's next strike takes off Archer's head, I force him to retreat. Pain throbs in my right hand. Because it was such an extreme order, I used up my command spells. We already used... Bro, the Holy War hasn't even started yet, and we already used 2 command spells! I only have 1 left. But this is for the best. Was it? It's worth losing a command spell or 2 to make sure Archer doesn't die. Without skipping a beat, the servant comes for me next. I pull out a wind-imbued topaz and feed magical energy directly into it without any extra steps. It's a cluster of wind spells that I've been feeding into day after day, and they're enough to blow away a house or 2 without leaving a trace. This is one of 10 jewels I've been building up in the last 17 years without skipping a single day. Even if I can't beat this thing with it, I should be enough to slow... Or not. Didn't work at all. The moment it touches the servant, what ought to have been the tempest that would hew apart anything in its path disappears like a simple stage magic trick. With terrifying magic resistance. Are you telling me that a mage doesn't have enough magical energy to hurt this servant? Oh no. My magecraft doesn't work. I've lost Archer's protection. I have no way to stop this servant. Even if I barely manage to dodge the first attack, I'm finished. Look up in the night sky. In it, I imagine a ruthless reaper coming for me, sprawled pitifully on the ground. Saber! The wind blows. Through a break in the clouds, the moon peeks out through the... What? Through a break in the clouds, the moon peeks out through the spiral-like sky. The moonlight highlights her elegant profile. So this is the face of the servant who drove off Lancer. Took down my archer in one blow, and shrugged off my magecraft like it was nothing. The girl's voice rings clear like a bell, yet her voice is stuff of nightmares at this moment. The sword she's thrust at me seems to shine. I know that this is my dying moment. One glance is enough to figure that out. This is the card I wish to draw. The sword-wielding hero said to be the most powerful serpent. Alright, her sword's fucking invisible. I forgot. So, like I said, I don't know anything about Fate Stay Night or anything like that, but Saber was in Type Lumina, which is a game I did play. And that bitch's sword is invisible. I forgot about that. I look up at the moon, prepared to die. There's no room to beg for my life. No time to escape. With my death, Rintoska's Holy Grail War will have ended on the 3rd day. You think I'd go out hating my foe, feeling nothing but shame and regret. I don't know much about Fate, but I do know Saber. Yeah. But I don't feel that way at all. She's literally everywhere? Yeah. Something's seriously wrong with me. I'm one moment away from certain death, and here I am entranced by my killer. Yeah. It's frustrating to be sure. There's nothing I can do now. The strongest servant is going to kill me. She looks all at once heartless, utterly noble, and very beautiful. Okay. Hit the like button because we just got demonetized. Oh my god, that motherfucker is huge. Hello, Dizzy. Okay, so I was trying to figure out why the fuck it wasn't letting me get to the main menu. It's because it was a cold open. Holy shit, that was the prologue. Chill, chill. Relax. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna run ads while I'm writing down the timestamp and everything. Okay, I've resumed the recording. If you're watching this on YouTube, we have just watched the fight between Archer and Lancer from, I think it was Unlimited Blade Works. That shit was tight. Half that shit didn't happen in the end, but it was cool as fuck. I'm not gonna mess around with YouTube's copyright right now. I'll figure out how that works later. But if you want to see what you want to see stuff like that, my live reaction and stuff, check us out live on Twitch. Link in the description? Alright. Let's play for real. I am the bone of my sword. Steel is my body, fire is my blood. I have created over 1,000 blades, unknown to death, nor known to life. I've withstood the pain to create many weapons, yet those hands will never hold anything. So as I pray, Blade Works. When I came to, I was lying in a burning field. So Rocket Pal, you're over here calling out Dizzy. But I don't know why you're calling out Dizzy, because not only is Dizzy a VIP, they are also subscribed, which you are not. So true. Yeah, and then over here trying to call out one of my friends. All right, get out of here. Must have been a big fire. The familiar town was as unrecognizable as smoking ruin. What? The familiar town was an unrecognizable smoking ruin. It looked like a scene from the War movie. The sight didn't last long, though. As morning dawned, the fires gradually died down. The towering walls of flame shrunk to embers, and most of the buildings looked to have collapsed. It felt so strange being the only unchanged thing in this town. I was the only one left alive. I was either fortunate, or the house I had been inside was built on the luckiest ground of all time. Either way, I was the only one alive. Since I'd survived, I felt I needed to keep on living. I walked aimlessly, thinking it would be dangerous to remain where I was. It wasn't that I wanted to avoid becoming what was happened to everyone around me, the scorched black masses. It wasn't a feeling of disgust. Some other emotion was driving me on. At the same time, I had no hope. It was a miracle I was alive at all, and when I didn't think I was going to last much longer, there was just no way in hell I was going to survive. There was simply no way I would ever escape this crimson hellscape, no matter what I did. That was how desperate, how hellish this place was, even through the eyes of a young boy. And I collapsed. Either there was no air around me, or I simply couldn't breathe anymore. I just collapsed, and all I could do was look up at the sky, look up at the slowly clouding sky. The scorched black masses around me lay motionless. The dark clouds covered the sky, promising rain. Good, the rain will put out the fires. I took one final deep breath and looked at the rain clouds. I couldn't breathe, but still felt pain. I said that out loud, on behalf of those people who couldn't say those words themselves. That was 10 years ago. Miraculously, in the midst of all that, I was saved. My physical body survived, but everything else was scorched, reduced to ash. When a young child loses their parents or home, there's really nothing left of them. And so, everything other than my body perished. But as simply as possible, in exchange for my body living, my heart died. I'm dreaming. I squinted, seeing a bright white light. It was blinding. Light stabbed at my eyes when I awoke. That happens to me every time I wake up too. I didn't really know what the sensation of blinding light was in the first place. What? As my eyes just, oh, we actually said that. I was confused on why that one character at the beginning didn't have a voice. It's because it's the main character. The main character doesn't have a fucking voice. It's our voice. I will try my best to do as much Japanese as I know. Granted, it's not a lot. I was lying in bed I didn't recognize, in a room I didn't recognize. I was honestly stunned, but the calmness of the white room made me feel at ease. Doshitana. I think that was it. I think it was Doshitana. It's mostly because I'm trying to learn as much Japanese as possible, so if you don't like it, I don't know, cry. Technically, I was really close, so to translate it literally, it would be Watashi wa doko desu ka? Doko desu ka? So I will say, Ore wa doko desu ka? I looked blankly at my surroundings. The room was spacious and the bed was lined with neat rows. All the beds were full and it looked like each bed's occupant was injured. But the room didn't feel depressing at all. Everyone injured survived. I let my eyes wander. Looked at the window. The clear blue sky was so incredibly beautiful. A few days passed and I was finally able to take in the situation. I had no problem remembering what happened the days before, but I wasn't much different from a newborn during this time. Strange as it was, that was closer to the truth that might have seemed possible. Fire was just that bad. I was rescued from the fire. I woke in a hospital, my parents were gone, and my entire body was wrapped in bandages. I didn't really understand what was going on, but I did know that I was alone. It didn't take long for me to accept my circumstances. Maybe I had no choice, really. All the other children were in the same boat. And then, later, in the moment I, naive as I was, started to worry about what would become of me, he walked in. He appeared that day, my bandages came off and started eating on my own. He appeared the day my bandages came off and I started eating on my own. His hair was disheveled, his suit tattered. He looked a bit younger than my doctor, looked more like someone's older brother than someone's father. His beaming smile seemed to blend in to the pouring white sunlight. His voice was somehow irritatingly faint and extremely gentle.
孤児院に預けられるのと初めて会ったおじさんに引き取られるの、君はどっちがいいかな？
He was offering to take me in. I asked if we were related, but he said he was we were complete strangers. He looked like an unremarkable, unreliable guy. Then again, he was no more or less familiar than an orphanage. So I decided I'd go with him.
そうか、よかった。なら早く身支度を済ませよう。新しい家に一日でも早く慣れなくっちゃいけないからね。
He started gathering my things hastily. Even as young as I could see he wasn't any good at it. After he made a mess packing.
大切なことを言い忘れた。うちに来る前に一つだけ教えなくちゃいけないことがある。
He turned, asking for confirmation. He asked so casually, as if asking me if there was somewhere I wanted to go.
はじめに言っておくとね、僕は魔法使いなんだ。
He said in a serious, almost ceremonious manner. It happened so fast that I think back I was also immature. I just accepted his words as fact. I took it neither as a joke nor a genuine statement. Really? That's cool, Oji-san. Sugoi, Oji-san. I guess I said something like that, eyes wide in astonishment. And I was a child. Actually, I don't really remember how the conversation went. This is not exactly the same as the start of Tsukihime, but like the situation is relatively similar. But every now and then, my old man would bring it up. He would recount the scene over and over, acting all embarrassed. That scene might have been the happiest day of my old man, a man named Kiritsu Imiya's life. You could say that. It was one thing for him to tell me recently orphaned kid he was a magician, but I was no better the way I so eagerly bought it. And that was how my old man adopted me, and how I took the last name Emiya. Shiro Emiya. I don't know what Emiya means, but Shiro is generally white. Although it probably doesn't mean white, given how the word is. It's probably written with different characters. When I said the name out loud, I felt really proud of having the same last name as Kiritsu. It's Kiritsugu. I didn't say his name correctly. I'm dreaming. It's from my childhood. It's probably about 8 years ago, since it's about the time when I talked my old man into making me his apprentice. Kiritsugu had started going away on a regular basis once I was old enough to stay home by myself. I'd always give some childish, unbelievable explanation like, I'm gonna go on an adventure around the world, and then he'd actually do it. From then on, that's how it was. It wasn't unusual for him to be gone for a month, and at times he didn't come home for half a year. That's kind of upsetting. The Emiya Mansion is an expensive Japanese samurai-style house, and Kiritsugu and I were the only ones living there. It felt too big and empty for a child like me, and at times I felt lost. But I liked my life there. Whenever Kiritsugu came home from his trips, he would brag and tell stories like an excited child. And another child who shared his last name always looked forward to those stories. I may have been alone in the mansion, but Kiritsugu's stories always helped lessen that. He was always pursuing a dream like a boy. I was weary of his whims, yet at the same time he always looked radiant to me. Maybe that's why I hope to be like him one day. Well, as childish as I might have been, I realized I needed to get my act together since I had an old man with the head constantly in the clouds. Ow. You guys didn't hear that, but my whole entire body just popped. We're back to January 31st. So we're gonna get the actual context now. I hear a sound. The heavy, rusted hinges of a door creak as if it's being pushed open. Light pours in through the crack in the door. My mind tries to shake off the slumber.
先輩、起きてますか？
No, we're getting woken up by a cute girl. TM. I hear footsteps drawing near, and I feel the winter air flowing in. Oh, it's Sakura. Ohayo, Sakura.
はい。おはようございます、先輩。
Sakura-chan? We're gonna go with Chan.
先輩、朝ですよ。まだ時間はありますけど、ここで眠っていたら藤村先生に怒られます。
Oh. Arigato. I don't know, I have no idea how to say the rest of this sentence, but I'm just gonna say arigato.
そんなことありません。先輩、いつも朝は早いですから。こんな風に起こしに来れるなんて、たまにしかありません。
I'm not sure why, but Sakura looks more cheerful than usual. I don't know about that, and I think you wake me up more often than you think. Then again, Fujini is brutal when she's the one waking me up, so I prefer you do it. Yep, I've learned my lesson. I'll try not to sleep in here next time. I answer still half asleep. My head's still not right, so even I don't know what I'm saying.
はい、わかりました。でも、頑張ってもらわない方が嬉しいです、私。
She likes doing so? That's cute. Sakura is giggling. Ah, crap. Must be still so sleepy that I said something weird. Shut them up there. Cold winter air helps at times like this. The chill snaps my lethargic mind awake. And in front of me stands my junior at school, Sakura Mato. I'm in my house's storehouse, and it's just about 6 o'clock in the morning.
先輩、
I'm awake now. Sorry, Sakura, I did it again. I need to help you with breakfast.
そんなのいいんです。先輩、夕べも遅かったんでしょ。なら、朝はゆっくりしてください。朝食の支度は私がしておきますから。
What the fuck are my glasses? Okay, well. I'll find out when I'm not looking for him. Sakura is practically bouncing with excitement. That's odd. Sakura is really energetic this morning. No, I'm getting up, honest. So let's head to the kitchen together. Why are we in the storeroom? Oh, hi. Ikuka, Sakura-chan.
いえ、その、先輩。
どうした？
いえ、そういうことではないんですけど、その、先輩、家に戻る前に着替えた方がいいと思います。
What are we wearing? Oh. I finally look at myself. I fell asleep working last night, so I'm still wearing my coveralls. The coveralls I wear when I'm working are usually dirty. Who knows what Fujini would say or do if I went to the house as is. Okay, I guess I'm not quite as awake yet. Must be more out of it than usual.
そうかもしれませんね。ですから、朝食の支度は私に任せて、先輩はもう少しゆっくりしていてください。それにほら、ここを散らかしっぱなしにしていたら、藤村先生に怒られるでしょ。
Excuse me. Right. Then I'll get changed then, so you go on ahead.
はい、お待ちしてますね、先輩。
Sakura quickly walks out. Okay then, I'll change into my school uniform first. Then I need to collect all the parts I left scattered around. The storehouse in the corner of the backyard and all sorts of junk is crammed in here. No, I've always liked to tinker with gadgets, so the place is a treasure trove to me. Kinda wholesome? Yeah. She's gonna die. The old man forbade me to go to the storehouse, but I ignored his warnings and stuck inside almost every day. Now it's sort of a base for me. I guess you could call this place my real room. This massive Amiya house never felt homey to me, but I've always felt at ease in here, surrounded by all this junk. Besides, it's wasteful. It may be junk, but but a lot of it still works. Majority of the things in the storehouse are everyday things, mostly unusable. I'm not sure whether I brought it all in because I liked it in here, or whether I liked this place because it was full of junk. By the way, I snuck into the storehouse almost daily, and I made sort of the hobby fixing broken things. I'm not the type to get attached to things, but it just didn't feel right to neglect things that are still usable. Or maybe it would be better to say the idea of doing that just bothered me. Which is why I stayed up all night trying to fix a broken stove. Guess I'll be done tomorrow. Falling asleep midway is proof I'm not concentrating. I try to shake off my self-disgust at that. I gathered the parts for the stove and put them back on the shelf of things waiting to get fixed. There's no room though. Once I fix the stove, an old VCR is up next. Both of which were destroyed by Fujini. We can set that aside for now though. Yosh. I change into my school uniform. Since the storehouse is like my own room, I have all the essentials, including a change of clothes in here. The rest are things like haphazardly drawn blueprints scattered all over the place, and literal junk from failed attempts at fixing various things. Also, there's some sort of pattern carved into the storehouse floor, perhaps to be used as some sort of altar in the past. Okay, gotta get it. Wait, maybe I can say this. Gotta work hard to get an A. No, that's saying it to somebody else. How do you say it to yourself? Gotta work hard again today. Kyomo ganbara nakia. Kyomo ganbara nakia.
Kyomo ganbara nakia.
Yosh. Kyomo ganbara nakia. I clap my hands in prayer at the storehouse and turn towards the mansion. I walk from the storehouse to the mansion. This Amiya residence is a Japanese samurai-style house located at the outskirts of town. My old man wasn't from a notable family, yet for some reason he owned this giant house. That in and of itself was a mystery. It also seems that he didn't have any relatives here in Japan. And so when my old man died, there was no one else to inherit this mansion. So it came to me as his adopted son. Though to be honest, I don't have any administrative abilities. So things like inheritance, property taxes, and any other complicated things are handled by old man Fujimura. Old man Fujimura is a major businessman who lives nearby. Kiritsugu described old man Fujimura as an old man who's like a yakuza boss. Obviously, that was his own biased view. In fact, old man Fujimura is not like a yakuza boss, he is a yakuza boss. That may be your problem in and of itself, but I try not to dwell on it. Anyway, that's why I live in this giant mansion on my own. It's been 5 years since my old man died. I'm sure that's flying. I sigh thinking about how much I've grown in those 5 years. I trained every day to become like Kiritsugu, but that's easier said than done. It's not surprising since I didn't have what it takes from the start, but the fact that I haven't improved at all these past 5 years forces me to reassess things. If I had to sum up my current situation, I'd say I'd set the bar too high. I've even reached the starting line. Nope, rushing me won't do any good. For now, I just have to do what I can. Okay then, what I need to do now is... Okay, we have choices now! Let's go help Sakura. Right, I need to help Sakura. Making someone younger than me do all the work would be embarrassing, and I feel bad for Sakura coming here so early in the morning. But I'm too late. Breakfast looks to be done already. The appetizing scent of breakfast Sakura cooks wafts toward me in the kitchen. Sakura finished cooking and she's searching the cupboards for dishes. Sorry, I can only serve everything, so go sit down. I wasn't exactly quick. It's already past 6, and that's when we're usually eating breakfast, so... Yeah, I overslept.
先輩は部活をしていないんですから、この時間は十分に早起きです。
Clubs have nothing to do with it. And if they do, you coming by in the mornings must be a lot of trouble since you do have morning practice.
いえ、私は好きでしていることですから、部活のことは気にしないでください。
Yeah, you keep saying that, which is why I wake up early, club or no. If you're coming by, be rude to still be asleep. To me, waking up early is waking up before Sakura gets here, and oversleeping means I make Sakura prepare breakfast on our own, like today. Though this arrangement started only about a year and a half ago. How did this even happen? Also, read the signs, bro. She likes you. You said, Sakura, the food just needs to be plated and set the table, so at least let me do that. I stay next to Sakura and pull out the dishes. Sakura has a surprisingly stubborn side, so she won't rest until I really rest unless I really push.
なら、私もお手伝いします。お皿には私が盛りますから、先輩はお茶碗を出してください。
Nope, I'm saying I'll do it all myself.
いけません。先輩はお家の主人なんですから、朝くらいはドーンと構えていてください。
Why does she want us to do that? Act all important? I wouldn't be much of a head of the house if I made you do all the work while I sit back now, would I? Come on, go and sit down in the sitting room, Sakura.
はい。ぜひ失格してください。これ、いつも美味しいご飯を食べさせてもらっているお返しなんです。だからできれば、先輩にはゆっくりしていてほしいです。
Bro, she's gonna die. Hey, we split the cost of groceries, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. In fact, I'm the one who should be thanking you. Ever since you started coming by, I've been eating a lot better.
やっぱり、先輩、分かってなかったんですね。先輩のお家のご飯が美味しいのは、そういうことじゃないんです。
I was gonna say Dodemei, but that means it doesn't matter. What do you mean? Oh, I've heard them say this. Doyeimi?
どういう意味？
Doyeimi?
いえ、なんでもありません。けど、責任取ってくださいね。私、先輩の家じゃないと、ご飯を美味しくいただけなくなっちゃったんですから。
Huh? Dakara. What if Fujini heard that? She doesn't get sarcastic jokes.
そうですね。藤村先生に聞かれたら大変です。
Right, so don't say stuff like that.
はい、言いません。言いませんから、お手伝いしていいですよね、先輩。
This is unbelievably cute, and I've been scarred from a previous game. She's dying. Sakura looks at me in the eyes so naturally and calmly. Do what you want. If you want it so badly, I'll have you do everything.
はい、好きにします、私。
Honestly, you don't listen to anything I tell you anymore, Sakura.
ですね。
Sakura.
藤村先生に似てきたのかもしれません。
She's very... I don't know how to explain this in a way that didn't sound sexist, but I'm going to do it anyway, and know that I don't mean this in the sexist way. She's very housewife. Like, I mean, she's not like the mom friend. She's doing this specifically for him, so she wouldn't do this for anybody. She does this specifically for him, so she's very housewife. Wife friend? Until she becomes actual wife. She responds softly, and she reaches toward the cupboard. Her dark hair gently falls over her shoulder, and the curves of her body catch my eye. I can't explain it, but it's awkward. Oh my god, you found a girl attractive. I'm not sure if it's our age, but Sakura's been looking more feminine lately. No, you just find her attractive. Very domestic. That makes it sound more sexist. Her casual movements on our profile are so pretty. I inadvertently avert my eyes.
先輩、どうかしましたか？
いえ、別に。 Honestly, it's baffling. What the hell am I getting nervous around my friend's younger sister? Sakura's just a really good and considerate young friend of mine, and she's someone I need to look after. No, I don't really know the extent of your relationship like this, but it doesn't seem like you need to look after her at all. In fact, she's doing the looking after. She's looking after you specifically. And of course, we know the first part of that sentence is just cap. She's the younger sister of a friend of mine. We used to be friendly, though initially we weren't very close since she's a grade below me. It was only a year and a half ago that our relationship became more of what it is now. Sakura started to come and cook meals for me when I got hurt, and you got hurt? And things kind of stayed like that. I think this arrangement was supposed to last until I got better, but I guess something or other happened, and she ended up helping out with household chores. By the way, Sakura's a good cook, and her cleaning and laundry skills are perfect. Having her come early in the morning is a big help, but it's been disconcerting recently. Sakura isn't the problem, it's me. So many thumbnails. I'm sure being flustered by my friend's sister is part of the reason I feel guilty. Usually I'm unfazed, but when I blush because I get caught off guard like now, I wonder whether that's problematic as her senpai. Breakfast is lined up neatly on the table. A perfectly balanced meal of chicken with parsley salad, grilled salmon, blanched spinach, miso soup with radish and carrots, and grated yam soup. That's a lot of food for breakfast. Also, that's lunch. Chicken with parsley salad, grilled salmon. That already is a lot of food. Blanched spinach, miso soup with radish and carrots, and grated yam soup. Miso soup and grated yams. That's a lot of fucking food. Bro, you feed me this before going to fucking before going to school, bro. I'm out the whole entire rest of the day. First off, I am not a morning person. I go to sleep at 6 a.m. that's what I go to sleep. But you give me this amount of food on a fucking in the morning, I'm out the rest of the day, bro. I'm tired. Itis is kicked in the whole rest of the day.
Itadakimasu.
Oh, now you have a voice. Sakura and I sit down, and I begin her meal in silence. It's probably the friend. That probably wasn't our protagonist's voice. A gentle tapping of chopsticks is the only sound in the room. Sakura isn't typically talkative, and I hardly have anything to chat about during meals. So we just eat in silence. Sometimes that's enough. Normally it's much rowdier than this, but the president usually causes the commotion. Must have watched a spy movie or something last night because she's eyeing the two of us through a newspaper propped up in front of her food. Oh, no, our protagonist had a voice all of a sudden and just decided to voice that one. Sakura remarks diffidently, but Fujini ignores her. Fujini's acting weird, but her being weird at breakfast isn't really all that weird for her. Sakura's used to it too, and she's eating as if nothing's the matter. Sakura typically cooks up Western dishes. She's really only begun learning to cook Japanese dishes since she started coming here to help me out. Sakura learned to cook simple Japanese dishes, at least for breakfast, because Fujini and I prefer them. Now Sakura's cooking skills have improved to the point where she's better than me, and I'm the one teaching her. Her miso soup is flavorful and refined now, and she's even gotten to the point where she can grate yams to make yam soup. Yam soup sounds kind of fire. Actually, I think today's the first time she's served yam soup. Sorry, Sakura, could you pass the soy sauce? Then I can use Fujini's. Pass it over. Fujini nods. The newspaper shuffles. Yeah, everyone puts soy sauce on grated yams. Okay. A line of soy sauce streams from the bottle onto the grated white mound. Stir the mixture up and pour it over my rice and take a bite. Alright, chat. You guys ready to go on an adventure? Hmm. Hmm. And he poured it on top of his rice, I guess. Looks kind of pleasant. I wouldn't mind trying that. The stickiness of the grated yam combined with the intense flavor of the soy sauce. What the? This isn't soy sauce, this is oyster sauce. Fujini tosses her newspaper to the table and with an enthusiastic flick of her wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist!
そうだ。朝のうちにソースとお醤油のラベルを取り替えておく作戦なのだ。
The not so mysterious spy punches the air in victory. Who pulls a stunt like this first thing in the morning? You're gonna turn 25 this year, but you're still the same childish Fujini I've always known.
ふんだ。昨日の恨み思い知ったか。
What did we do yesterday?
みんなと一緒になってお姉ちゃんをいじめるやつには当然の天罰ってところかしら。
People can't enact divine justice. I knew you were just weirdly quiet. I knew you were weirdly quiet. I can't believe you've been plotting this since yesterday. You have entirely too much free time on your hands.
そうだよ。おかげでこれから急いでテストの採点しなくちゃいけないんだから。そういうわけで急がないとやばいのだ。
Damn, Eminem real quiet as she dropped the last bar. Fujini sits back down and shovels her breakfast into her mouth.
はい、ごちそうさま。朝ごはん、今日も美味しかったよ、さくらちゃん。はい、お粗末様でした、先生。それじゃ先に行くわね。二人とも遅刻したら怒るわよ。
And off she goes, stomping out in a rush. There's something terribly wrong with a world that allows someone like her to be a teacher.
先輩。
Sorry that Fujini hardly savored the breakfast you took so much work into making.
いえ、そういうのではなくて、昨日藤村先生に何かしたんですか？食べ物に細工するなんて、藤村先生にしてはやりすぎですから。
I think she mentioned in the prologue that the students started calling her by her first name. Well, I accidentally called her by her nickname.
それじゃあ仕方ありませんね。先輩、藤村先生に謝らなかったんでしょう。
Sorry, I forgot, but only because that kind of stuff happens all the time.
ダメで
She
すよ。
still apologized.
藤村先生、先輩にあだ名を言われるのだけは嫌がるんですから。また泣かせちゃったんでしょう。
You made her cry again? Not only did I make her cry, but she also ran like a scared rabbit, and thanks to that incident, yesterday's English class ended up being a study hall. Bro, I don't know why it was enough to make her cry, but you probably should apologize instead of getting all uppity and be like, I can't believe you messed with my breakfast. Apologize, bro. In fact, everyone, although she was kind of fucked up for doing that, don't mess with people's food. In fact, everyone in class worked together to make an award for me from their notebook paper because of that. I threw it away, obviously.
もう、それじゃあ、今朝のは先輩が悪いです。
Ah. Fujini is like an older sister to Sakura's. So she typically on Fujini's side, which is fine on its own, but I wish she would consider the fact that I have to deal with Fujini all day long. Fujini was originally an acquaintance of my old man, and she swung by the house pretty frequently since I was adopted. She kept on coming over even after my old man died, and now she acts like a freeloader, eating breakfast and dinner every day. Actually, it might have been thanks to Fujini that I was able to make it on my own after my old man died. So maybe you should be nicer to her. And now it is me, Fujini, and Sakura who are the residents of the Emiya house. That's not what that said, I don't think. Oh no, it was. I did read it correctly. But at the same time, I'm the only one who knows that my old man was a mage. They say mages have to keep their part of their life secret, which is why I've also been hiding from others that I'm learning magecraft after I became my old man's apprentice. Learning may be a bit of a stretch since I can barely use magecraft properly, so it wouldn't make much of a difference whether I hide magecraft or not, but since of my old man's dying wish, I've been training in secret. I finished breakfast and get ready for school. I put away the dishes with Sakura as I listened to the news on TV in the background. Sakura is looking blankly at the TV. A flashy caption reading, "A gas leak continues," pops up over the screen. It seems to be a big accident in the neighboring city of Shinto. It happened in a building in the business district. Apparently everyone on one of its floors lost consciousness from oxygen deprivation. Authorities have been calling it an accident resulting from gas leaks, but for some reason these incidents have been happening often. Are you worried about the incident, Sakura?
いえ、別に。ただ、事故がシントで起きているなら近いなって。先輩、シントの方でアルバイトしていますよね。
Yeah, but the shop's not that big. I don't think an accident like that would happen here. But I can't entirely ignore the idea either. Gas leaks can happen in any building, and it especially pains me to think that hundreds of people have fallen victim. Well, gas smells like something, and even if you don't smell it, it feels differently. So, not saying that it's impossible to happen, but like, I don't know. I don't really know much about gas leaks. It just seems like to me that you would be able to tell that you're not breathing oxygen because it doesn't feel correct. But I don't know shit about gas leaks, so maybe I'm wrong. Some say that these accidents are happening because of the faulty construction work done during the rapid development projects in Shinto. Either way, I hope there won't be any more victims. It's a disturbing story. We need to be careful too.
それならご心配なく先輩。ガスの元栓はいつも2回チェックしてますから安心です。
Sakura proudly proclaims. No, that's not my point. Yep, I've always known that Sakura's a little off too. She's a dork. I like her.
先輩、裏手の戸締まりはしました？
I bolted it. Is that a problem?
ありません。それじゃあ鍵かけますね。先輩、今日のお帰りは何時ですか？
I thought I could be home a little late. What about you, Sakura?
私はいつも通りです。多分私の方が早いと思いますから、夕食の下準備は済ませておきますね。
Yeah, that'll be great. I'll try to come home as soon as possible, too. The gate is locked tight. Sakura and Fujini both have keys to the house, and the rule is that whoever leaves last is in charge of locking everything up. Excuse me. Let's go. You'll be late for morning practice if you don't hurry.
はい。それじゃあ、少しだけ急ぎましょうか、先輩。
Sakura and I walk into town. We walk downhill along the wall to reach more populated residential area. The Mia house is located on top of the hill away from the center of town. Heading down the hill leads us to a residential area. Going further down, we reach the intersection of the center of town. Several roads lead out from the center of town. There's a large bridge that connects the neighboring town. A hill that leads to Ryudo Temple. A residential area located opposite of my house. A shopping district that both Sakura and I often go to. And finally, there's the path that leads to our school. We get straight to school without taking any detours. It's barely 7 o'clock, so there's hardly anyone around. Students making their way to their morning club activities are the only ones to be found along our route. You got your lasagna? It took you a while to get your lasagna, because you said the lasagna was done like 20 minutes ago. Jenna, gambatte. See Sakura off at the school gate as usual. Sakura's in Kyoto Club, so this is where we usually split off. And yet, Sakura doesn't budge in this morning. Sakura? Doshita?
そういうことじゃなくて、先輩、たまには道場の方に寄っていきませんか？
The way to say are you okay is daijoubu. That's cool. Well, I don't really have any business at the dojo. Besides, Issei asked me to do something, so I need to go to the student council room.
そうですよね。ごめんなさい。余計なことを言っちゃって。
Sakura quickly bows her head. Huh?
それじゃあ失礼します。晩ご飯楽しみにしていてくださいね。
Sakura runs towards the dojo, seemingly almost apologetic. What do you mean almost? She literally bowed her head in an apology. Done it, Soda. I wonder what that was about. Nani Soda. It's poor people lasagna, but it's very comfort food. It's very good. It's very good comfort food. What do you mean poor people lasagna? What constitutes as poor and rich people lasagna? Issei, are you in?
いるぞ。今朝は少し遅かったな、エミヤ。
Issei glances up from his desk, looking like he's been studying some papers. Is it just you? Where's the rest? They should all be at school by now.
いや、あいにくとうちのメンバーはビジネスライクでね。働く時間帯はきっかり決まっていて、早出と残業はしたくないのだそうだ。
So that's what the student council president is always doing busy work himself. Guess you've got a lot of problems to deal with.
なに、好きでしている苦労だ。エミヤに同情してもらうのは筋が違う。
What are you talking about? I'm not sympathizing with you.
それはそれで無念だが、聞き流すとしよう。情が映っているということでは同じだからな。
Lasagna noodles with layering of ground beef, spaghetti sauce, instant mashed potatoes, and then you draw on the top of in cheese. That sounds like lasagna. What constitutes poor people lasagna and rich people lasagna? What's the difference? That's the question. You just sound like you made lasagna to me. Garfield would love you. Never heard anyone put mashed potatoes in there, but still. Issei, who's gathering his papers. Did I not read that? Oh, no, I did. Issei, who's gathering his papers into a single sheaf and tapping the edge against the table and square them neatly, is the big boss of the student council. The difference is there's no ricotta cheese because it's fucking expensive. I don't think that's true. It might be expensive now because president, but I don't think ricotta is all that expensive. Probably real ricotta is expensive, but I think you can get like tubs of ricotta cheese. Like fresh ricotta, not real. He's working to reform the student council, which has grown quite lax, and he's been a friend of mine since the first year in school. His full name is Issei Ryudo. Despite his old-fashioned sounding name, he's an elegant facial features and is popular with the girls. Is he? He seems kind of like an asshole. He's also the student council president, so you think he'd have the leg up over everyone else, but that's not exactly the case.
やはり朝は舌がしびれるほどの熱湯が良い。
You should not be drinking scalding hot tea. And saying stuff like this as he sips his tea that prevents him from quite sticking the landing. As evidence, Issei's quite plain. He's prone to be misunderstood, yet he neither dabbles in relationships nor he does what typical students do for fun. He's the heir of the Ryudo Temple, which sits atop a mountain. It's your first time having lasagna in like 6 years? He himself understands that that he will inherit the temple, and there's a strong possibility that he'll shave his head without so much as a complaint as soon as he graduates from school. So what do you want me to do today?
ああ、まあともかく座って一服と言いたいのだが、時間がないな。移動がてら説明をするゆえ、
いつもの道具を持ってついてきてくれ。率直に言うとな、うちの学校、金のバランスが極端なんだよ。
I know the athletic clubs are favored, but there's not much money to go around in other places.
結果、文化系の部員は絶えず不遇の扱いでな。今年から文化系に予算が行くよう尽力しているのだが、予算の流れが不鮮明でうまく回っていない。おかげで未だ文化系の物質は不遇でな。特に冬のストーブ不足に関しては打開策がまるでない。
I see. Hey, hand me the flathead screwdriver, the biggest one. Oh, and give me some conductors too. Yeah, this one looks salvageable.
導線？これか。すまん、よくわからん。間違っていたら叱ってくれ。
It's fine, you got it right. So what about the lack of heaters? Is there something else that's broken?
ある。第二小学室と美術部の暖房器具が怪しいそうだ。新品購入願いの嘆願書が刻一刻と増えている。
You're saying that there's no room for it in the budget? Well, this one's just corroded. Good thing is it's still intact. The inside's still intact.
治りそうか、エミヤ。
Huh. I know the word for fix is naos. Oh, well, apparently the way to say this would be, "Ai shusei dekimasu." Shusei dekimasu. It's a good thing these old machines are easy to figure out. The wires are just burnt out, so as long as these get replaced, they should last until the end of the year.
そうか。やるな、エミヤ。お前が頼りになると極めて嬉しいぞ。
You say some weird stuff, you say. Oh, hey, I'm almost done, so go ahead and step out.
エミヤの邪魔はせん。
He said quietly steps out of the classroom. He might be thinking that I'm going to start on some sensitive work. Well, I guess you can call it sensitive work. Put my hand to the old electric stove. No matter how long someone's been fixing things, they can't usually figure out what's wrong by sight. So the fact that I can means that what I'm doing is not ordinary. I close my eyes and look inside the stove by touch. And then suddenly, a single image pops into my head. There are two places where the wire is about to break. The electrical pipe should last a bit longer. The power cord should be fine as long as fine with just insulation tape. Good. I should be able to fix it with the tools I brought along. If the electrical pipes weren't broken, it wouldn't be fixable by an amateur. Had that been the case, a certain strengthening would have to be done with which no amateur could manage. But I should be able to fix this one by sight. This is the Magecraft Kiritsugu taught me. Hey, Hiko. I take off the cover and begin my repairs. I already know where it's broken, so the rest of the work is easy. It's the one thing I'm good at. That's right, I, Shiro Imiya, have absolutely no talent in Magecraft. But for some reason, I have a knack for visualizing the structure of things or blueprints like I did just now. Sounds like Magecraft to me, dog. My old man once saw me imagine and recreate a blueprint. He looked surprised and muttered, "What a useless talent." My special talent appears to be pointless. I don't know, man. I think that's pretty fucking cool. I'm sure it has some uses. According to my old man, the fact that I can visualize object structures isn't really helpful. A mage normally wouldn't need to survey an object's entire structure like I do. He claims that mages struggle to instantly seek out an object's center or its core and transform it as quickly as possible. That's why reading blueprints is a waste of time, and even that only helps seek out areas for magical energy to pass through. And so, fixing broken stuff is the only thing is one of the only things I'm good at. After all, I don't have to open the entire thing to find the problem. If I can find the problem quickly, I can fix most things as long as I have the know-how to repair it. No, I only do that with things an amateur could reasonably be expected to fix. Alright. What's next? I'll put the conductors away, pick up the screwdriver and wrench, and head out to the hallway. Issei, repairs are done. Oh, hey. Female student is standing next to Issei in the hallway. I'm a little surprised. The girl talking to Issei is Rin Tosaka, a second year from Class A. She lives in a giant Western-style mansion up on the big hill, and she's an extraordinary honor student. She's pretty, smart, athletic, no flaws at all. She's intelligent and polite, and she never brags about her looks. She's truly the ideal girl to guys, apparently. Me, I'm gay. I don't know what they're talking about, which is why the male student treated her like an idol. But Tosaka is just too good, and she's become unattainable. These guys always say the only people who could talk to Tosaka are Issei and the teachers. Well, okay, I'm also a guy, and I'm including myself in the list of her admirers. Tosaka is looking at us annoyed. I guess rumors are true that Issei and Tosaka don't get along.
悪い。頼んだのはこっちなのに、エミヤに任せっきりにしてしまった。許せ。
Whoa, Issei's pretty gutsy talking to me and completely ignoring Tosaka like that. Don't worry about it. So what's next? There's not much time.
ああ、次は視聴覚室だ。前から調子が悪かったそうなんだが、この度ついに天寿を全うされた。
If it's dead, I won't be able to fix it. It might be better to buy a new one.
そうなんだが、一応見てくれると助かる。俺から見れば臨終だが、お前から見れば仮病かもしれん。
You think so? Let me take a look. There's only about 30 minutes until homeroom starts. I'll need to hurry and fix it or I'll run out of time. I enter the audiovisual room, but I realized completely ignoring Tosaka would be rude. I turned to face her since she's been standing there for a whole time. She looks like fucking this particular frame makes her look like fucking damn, what's her name? The blue-haired bitch in Ace Attorney with the whip, Von Karma. This particular frame makes her look like Von Karma. It's the way her face is. You're here earlier, Tosaka. I blurt out the first thing that comes to mind, and then follow Issei.
ギリギリ間に合ったか。すまんなエミヤ。また苦労をかけた。頼み事をした上に遅刻させては友人失格だ。
I think Ryoto is the type of person that sniffs his own farts and tells people it smells nice. Don't sweat it. It won't be a problem if I'm late, where it might be an issue if you were late.
もっともだ。いや、間に合ってよかった。
Issei exhales a sigh of relief and heads to his desk. It's exactly 8 o'clock. 5 minutes after the bell for homeroom rings, Fujini will enter the classroom. My breathing's labored since I ran from the audio-visual room. I take a deep breath before I take my seat.
朝から騒がしいね、エミヤ。部活を辞めてから何をしてるかと思えば、竜道の太鼓持ち？僕には関係ないけどさ。うちの評判を落とすようなことはしないでよね。
I have an idea. Die.
なんていうか、節操ないからさ。
Standing in front of my desk is Shinji Mato. He's been a friend of mine since middle school. Didn't sound like a friend, sounds like a dickhead. His last name Mato, and he's Sakura's older brother. Ah. Alright. No, that's just a crazy way to open up your to start a conversation. He's 1 year older than her. Yep, Things at the Kyoto Club still doing well, Shinji?
当然だろう。部外者に話してもしょうがないけど、目立ちたがり屋が一人減ったんで平和になったんだ。次の大会だっていいところまで行くさ。
I take back what I said. Ryoto is fine. This guy sniffs his own farts and tells people it smells nice. Well, that's so. Guess Mitsuzuri's working real hard.
はあ？何見当違いなこと言ってんの？弓道部が記録を伸ばしてるのは僕がいるからに決まってるじゃんか。エミはさ、とっくに部外者なんだから。
This guy is not your friend.
口を叩くと恥をかくよ。
This guy only cares about himself. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Besides, I'm not involved with the club, so I wouldn't really concern myself with it as much. I'll put my back on my desk and pull the chair back.
何それ？僕の弓道部には興味がないってこと？
I'm not saying that, just saying that I'm not involved at all. And I'm not a part of the club anymore, so it's not right for me to just drop into the dojo. If there's anything you need, just let me know. I'll help whenever you need it. I remember you weren't good at fixing you weren't good at fixing and stringing bows.
そう、サンキュー。何か雑用があったら声をかけるよ。ま、そんなことはないだろうけどさ。
Well, that's good. A captain who leaves busy work behind wouldn't be much of a captain. So try not to trouble Miss Fujimura. She's terrifying she's terrifying if she gets mad.
余計なお世話だ。ともかくお前はもう部外者なんだから、道場に近づくなよ。
Bro, fuck off, man. And just like that, Shinji heads off to his seat. All self-important bluster is over. He does seem moodier than usual.
ふざけたやつだ。自分からエミヤを追い出しておいて、よくもあんな口が聞ける。
No, Isai. Were you there the whole time?
なんだとはなんだ。気を利かして聞き耳を立てていた友人に向かって、なんと冷淡な男だお前は。
Yay. Huh? What does concern have to do with it? I haven't done anything worth worrying about.
たわけ、心配もするわ。エミヤはカッとなりやすいからな。真珠に殴りかかれば、皆は喝采を送るが、女どもからは非難の嵐だ。友人をそんな微妙な立場に置くのはよろしくない。
I get it. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Isai. I don't think that would ever happen, but I appreciate the concern.
わかればよろしい。だが意外だったぞ。エミヤは怒りやすいくせに、マトウには寛大なんだな。
Because he's a dumbass. Yeah, but Shiji's been like that for as long as I've known him. You get used to it.
そんなものか。
It is. Now, come on, we go back to your desk if you're satisfied. It's almost time for Miss Fujimura to dash in.
あの方は飛んでくるというより浮いてくるという感じだから。
The bell to start homeroom rings. Normally, the homeroom teacher comes into the classroom 5 minutes before the homeroom starts, but our teacher isn't what you call typical. Homeroom for class 2C typically starts 1 minute after the starting bell. In other words, I don't want to punch that guy? Yeah, we should have punched him. How did you end up late? Yeah, I hope we do punch that guy. Fuck that guy. That guy sucks. Homeroom starts with the sounds of Fujini's shouts and hurried footsteps. Oh. Okay. Fujini tumbles and I hear some kind of unnatural sound. Contrary to the hectic sounds a few seconds earlier, the classroom is now dead silent. The mood shifts sharply. It's no wonder Fujini is called the human roller coaster. But honestly, the way she fell didn't seem like a laughing matter. Fujini hit her head against the podium, and she's lying on the floor. Seeing her lying there, face down, unmoving, has everyone imagining the worst.
おい、前の席のやつ、先生起こしてやれよ。
やだよ。近づいた途端パクって食べられたら怖いもん。
ミミックじゃあるまいし、さすがに藤村でもそこまでやらねえだろ。
あんたね、そういうんなら自分で起こしてあげなさいよ。
俺パス、こういうの苦手。
私だって苦手よ。大体なんで女の子にやらせるわけ？男子やりなさいよね、男子。
The students in the front row start getting rowdy. Those of us sitting in the middle rows can't see what's going on. So we all stand up to get a good
ちょ
look.
っと先生動いてないぞ。気絶してんじゃないのか？
Someone brings up the obvious. But the problem is, how would we get Fujini to the infirmary? We're all like comrades at arms after dealing with Fujini. Probably nobody's thrilled about the idea of taking a teacher to the infirmary.
藤村先生、大丈夫ですか？
A brave girl approaches. Fujini isn't moving. Class grows more concerned.
まずいって今の転び方。こう頭から直角に教団に突っ込んだじゃないか。あれで無傷だったら藤村無敵っぽいって。はあ、いっそのこと野球部にスカウトするのはどうだろう。
Why would you need someone who's resilient like that in baseball?
やめろよな、そういう脅しは。タイガーが顧問になった日には俺たち甲子園行っちまうぞ。
藤村先生、藤村先生、ダメ、なんか反応ないよ。
おい、お前目の前なんだから起こしてやれよ。やだよ俺。もし死んでたら殺されかねねえ。
Well, I didn't know we had a whole classroom full of pussies. Can someone wake this teacher up, please?
でも、だからってほっといたら後が怖いと思うし。
でも誰も近づきたくないと。
仕方ねえな。こうなったらあれしかないか。
うん。あれだね。
Everyone's on the same page. Except Shinji and I. We kept quiet because the two of us dared not be part of what's about to happen.
せーの。
It comes out as a whisper, even with so many students speaking in unison. The word tiger is especially inaudible. And yet, Fujini previously motionless body reacts.
決めありだぞみんな。よし続けろ。学校ロートンの刑じゃ。
Everyone must be on edge since midterms tests are approaching. It's a terrible idea on their part, but some students start to wave their arms and chant Fujini's nickname.
起きろタイガー。朝だぞ。
先生、起きないとタイガーです。
負けるなタイガー。立ち上がれタイガー。よし起きろ先生。それでこそタイガーだぜ。
タイガー、タイガー、タイガー、タイガー、タイガー、タイガー。
Like a sudden bolt of lightning striking. Fujini stands up valiantly as if the fall hardly scratched her.
あれ？みんな何してるの？ダメよ、ホームルーム中に席を立っちゃ。ほらほら、始めるから座りなさい。
Fujini, back to her normal self, stands at the podium. It appears that she's recalls nothing the time she jumped into the classroom and the time she woke up.
タイガー覚えてないみたいだぞ。ラッキー。朝からついてるな俺たち。
You do realize you just called her tiger just then.
ついてるっていうのかな、こういうの。
The students shuffle back to their desks.
今誰か先生のことバカにしなかった？
してないっすよ。気のせいじゃないっすか。
そっか、ならよし。じゃあ今朝のホームルームを始めるから、みんなおとなしく聞くように。
Fujini casually starts talking. He always goes on digressions between announcements, so it goes slowly.
そういうわけだから、みんなも下校時刻を守るように。門限は6時だから、部活の子たちも長居しちゃダメよ。
6時って言ったらすぐじゃんか。タイガ先生、それって運動系は免除されないの？
されません。それと後藤くん、先生のことは藤村先生って言わなくちゃダメなんだから、次に名前で呼んだら怒るからね。
Her name is Taiga Fujimura, and her nickname is Tiger in English. Alright.
はーい、以後注意します。
Goto sits back down. He doesn't seem particularly more remorseful. Too easy. When Fujini says she'll get mad, she gets mad. Doesn't matter if it's with a teacher or a student. And then it's as close to a serious warning as she's ever gonna give, but Goto doesn't realize it.
それじゃあ今日のホーム ここまで。みんな3次元目の英語で会おうね。
Fujini waves and leaves. So that was Taiga Fujimura, the teacher of room 2C. Her nickname, Tiger. That might seem like a joke, but it isn't. It's not a good nickname. Because the way you would pronounce that in Japanese, you would pronounce Taiga in Japanese would just be Taiga. So you're just saying her name. She got the nickname because it sounds like her name, Taiga, but Fujini hates it. According to her, it doesn't sound feminine. I disagree. It doesn't sound feminine, but it didn't sound masculine either. So I think it's a pretty neutral term. But she got the nickname because of how she acts, so she kind of had it coming.
授業を始める。日直礼を。
As Fujini exits the room, the first period teacher enters. Because Fujini takes up almost all of the homeroom time, mornings are always like this for our class. And so another day of classes ends. There are many types of students. Some immerse themselves in club activities, some hurry home, and some hang out in the classroom after class for no particular reason. I don't really fit in any of those categories.
すまない。ちょっといいか、エミヤ。今朝の続きなんだが、今日は時間あるか。
Well, it's not like I don't have any plans. It's not as if I don't have anything at all to do. The biggest reason I quit Kyoto Club in the first place was that I wanted to prioritize my part-time job. It's been 5 years since I started that part-time job to earn money for living expenses on my own after my old man died. And when you do many different jobs, there are some requests you can't say no to. Today is one of them. I was asked to help to restock some product for a bar since they wanted as many strong helping hands as they could get. Though I'm sure I don't have to help, the bar is likely asking everyone as an excuse to gather some folks to hang out afterwards. There are two options. I should. I don't know what to do. I wasn't really expecting a choice here. Does chat have anything they particularly want to say? Should we do anything specific? All right, well, since nobody has any objections, I guess we'll just help the student council. The stuff from this morning is unfinished. So I should at least finish what I started. Change of plans. You want me to finish what we started in the morning, right? Leave it to me. I'll finish all the repairs before exams start.
助かる。それでは美術部の患者を見に行くとするか。
Sure thing. Oh, but make sure there's nobody around. I can't concentrate when there's people around.
無論だ。他の連中に邪魔はさせぬ。
Keeping up with Issei's brisk pace to follow him out of the classroom. The sun has long since set since the time we stepped outside the building. The school gate is already closed. It's 7 o'clock. Way past the time they closed the gates. But I didn't save the game. I probably should have done that. The two of us avoided trouble.
いや、今日は助かった。必ずこの礼はするから。何かあったら遠慮なく言ってくれ。
Sure. I don't think anything will come up though. I didn't help him because I wanted something in return, and I don't think I would ask you for anything impossible.
まったく、人が良いのも考えものだな。エミヤがいてくれると助かるが、他の連中にいいように使われるのは我慢ならん。 人助けはいいことだが、もう少し相手を選ぶべきではないか。エミヤの場合、来る人拒まずすぎる。
You think so? Am I really that much of a pushover?
これでは心ないバカどもがいいように利用しようというものだ。エミヤも忙しい身なのだから、たまには他人の頼みなど断ってもよかろう。
I honestly can't tell, but I think Issei is concerned for me. Even ever since middle school, I've always been told how helpful I am since I never declined requests or asked anything in return. I guess Issei thinks that's unhealthy. It is a little bit unhealthy, but I'm not doing this because I want to, and then decline any requests I feel are impossible, so there's no issue. You really don't need to worry about this. I know myself and my limits. Besides, helping people is a good thing, and it's not sort of thing that son of a temple should be telling everybody anyone not to do.
しかしな、エミヤのは度が過ぎるというか、このまま行くと潰れるというか。
I'll keep your warning in mind. See you tomorrow at school.
それではまた明日。
Issei leaves looking dissatisfied. Issei lives at Ryoto Temple, located at the top of the mountain, which means I have to go, he and I have to go our separate ways. I'll walk through the still darkened town. It's about 7:30. There should still be people out and about at this hour. There's no signs of anyone around. Ah, right. There was a crime committed in Miyama the other day. A burglar murdered someone, I think. That must be why there's no one around, and why the school curfew has been set to 6 o'clock. Gas leaks and burglars, huh? Seems like it's getting pretty dangerous around here. No wonder people are avoiding walking around at night. It's probably not safe to let Sakura go home on her own anymore. Eugenie might be fine, but Sakura's house is in the residential area on the other side of town. Guess I should walk her home, starting to... Huh? I can't believe what I'm seeing. I must be wrong. I sense a presence on the uphill path I was sure was empty. Whoever it is, they're standing still, and look to be peering down at me. I unconsciously hold my breath. The girl with silvery hair smiles and walks down the path without making a sound. As she passes by... Eh? What she says makes no sense. Climb up the hill and reach my house. The lights are already on, which means Sakura and Fujini are home. The moment I step into the living room, I smell a delicious aroma for dinner. Sakura and Fujini are both eating at the table. Tonight's meal is chicken stewed in cream sauce, and it's put Fujini in an especially good mood. Thanks, and sorry for being late. Should have come home earlier. Okay, thanks. I'll go wash up and keep an eye on Fujini to make sure she doesn't eat my portion. I go to my room. It's a sports room compared to the storehouse, but it's still decorated enough, considering I don't have any particular hobbies. Now most of them are random things Fujini just left here. After I wash my hands and change, I head back to see my food on the table. Itadakimasu. Sakura is humble as ever. Sakura's cooking skills have vastly improved over the past year. My cooking is no match for her Western foods. My Japanese dishes might be a little bit better. Neither of us is any good at making Chinese dishes. I'm glad to know she's improving, but it's a little depressing when the pupil surpasses the master. It's really good. The longer you cook the chicken, the tougher the meat gets, which is why you need to take the extra step of grilling the chicken to a crisp to seal the juices. Cooking the chicken to a crisp to seal in its juices and flavor. This requires exceptional skill, and it's something the clumsy Fuji-ni would never be able to manage.
どうでしょうか先輩。今日のはうまくいったと思うんですけど。
No complaints here. The cream sauce is perfect. My cooking can't hold a candle to your Western dishes.
さくらちゃんがご飯作ってくれるようになってからお肉関係が美味しくなった。
Fuji-ni, who's been concentrating on her meal until now, pipes up.
ダメよシロ。学生がこんな夜更けに帰ってきちゃいけないんだから。
We look to be in good spirits thanks to Sakura's meal, but the moment she sees my face, her mood turns sour.
もうまた誰かの手伝いをしてたんでしょう。それはそれでいいことだけど、こんな時ぐらいは早く帰ってきなさい。最近物騒だぞってホームルームで言ったじゃない。あれシロに対して言ったんだからね。
You really don't need to make a home announcement for something you can't just tell me at home.
ここで言っても聞かないもの。学校でガツンと言った方がシロには効果的なんだもん。先生、それは職権乱用というか公私混同だと思います。それぐらいしないとシロはダメなのよ。いつも人の手伝いばっかりして損してるからさ。たまにはまっすぐ帰ってきてのんびりしててもいいじゃない、バカチン。
How are you calling an idiot? What's wrong with helping people? I'm not losing out on anything as long as someone benefits from my help.
キリツグさんに似たのかな。シロがそんなんじゃお姉ちゃん心配だよ。
Seeing Fuji-ni eating so heartily makes me wonder what exactly she's worried about.
藤村先生、今の話からすると先輩って昔からそうなんですか？昔からそうなの。なんか困ってる人がいたら自分から手を出しちゃうタイプ。けどおせっかいってわけじゃなくて、シロはね、単におませさんなのだ。
Fuji-ni grins menacingly. Fuji-ni, I'm going to get mad if you say anything you shouldn't. You shouldn't ask this silly question, Sakura. I glare at the two. Fuji-ni clicks her tongue in disapproval, but...
藤村先生、お話を続けてください。
Bruh. Sakura presses on like an attentive student.
じゃあ話しちゃおう。これがね、シロは困った人を放っておけない性格なのよ。弱きを助け強きをくじくってやつ。子供の頃の作文なんてね、僕の夢は正義の味方になることですだったんだから。
But bringing up the past, Fuji-ni. Can't really jump in though because it's true. Besides, becoming a hero of justice is still my goal.
わあ、すごい子供だったんですね、先輩。すごかったよ。年上の男の子にいじめられてる女の子がいたら助けに入ってくれたし、キリツグさんが武将だったから家事だって一生懸命こなしてたし。あの頃は可愛くて純真だったのに、それがどうしてこんなひねくれた子になっちゃったんだろうな。
That's on you, Fuji-ni. That's what happens with children when they have bad role models. And if you want to say something to that, try making an entire meal on your own. Got him. Fuji-ni is shocked. I thought she would just lower her head and repent, but...
お姉ちゃんは悲しいよ。さくらちゃん、おかわり。
She holds out a rice bowl, asking for a third helping of dinner. She has a lot of energy. No wonder she eats a lot. Get to replenish the fucking reserves, I guess. We relax after dinner and it's almost 9 o'clock. Well, what should I do? There's still some time before your evening training. I guess I'll... You should probably walk Sakura home. I haven't thanked Sakura for cooking dinner yet, so I should talk to Sakura. It's getting late, so I should walk her home. Sakura just finished cleaning up, and she's in the living room getting ready to go home.
あれ、先輩、お風呂に入ってたんじゃないんですか？
I'll take my bath later, after I walk you home.
送るって私をですか?
Yeah, it's been dangerous at night lately, so I'll walk you home. Your house is a pretty long walk, so let me at least do this since you go out of your way to come here. Sakura purses her lips awkwardly. Did I say something wrong?
ごめんなさい。気持ちは嬉しいんですけど、先輩は休んでいてください。家までだったら慣れてますし、一人でも大丈夫ですから。
Maybe so, but it really hasn't been safe recently. I'll walk you home at night for a while.
でも、兄さんに見つかると、先輩にまで迷惑がかかります。
Fuck him! I forgot. Sakura's older brother Shinji doesn't really like Sakura coming over to my place. But fuck him! Fuck that guy! Who cares? He can't say much because Sakura says she goes to Fujini's house, but me taking her home might cause problems. I don't care if Shinji accuses me of something I didn't actually do, but I don't want him taking it on Sakura. But it wouldn't be a problem if I only walked you halfway, right? There's no way we'll see Shinji at the intersection. Sakura is uncomfortably silent. Knowing Sakura, she probably could have even lied about the fact that I walked her home. Hey, then how about... An English teacher wearing tiger stripes suddenly pokes her head through the door. That really doesn't fix anything. My concern is that a girl's walking alone at night, so adding another girl would be... Wait a minute. Calling Fujini a girl may be a bit of a misnomer. There is a reason Fujini is a teacher in charge of the Kyoto Club. She was trained by old man Fujimura in Kendo, and is the her fifth rank designation makes her deadly, literally and figuratively. So you're talking about her being able to fight with weapons. It seems to me that she doesn't have a fucking weapon. Besides, going in a group is probably a better way to not get attacked anyway. I guess it wouldn't be a problem if you went Fujini, but I bet you could beat the crap out of any perverts who might try to strike.
できるよ。だからさくらちゃんを送っていくのも問題なし。それでいい？さくらちゃん。はい。藤村先生がよろしいのでしたら。決まりだね。それじゃあ。
There's something in my eye.
私も今日はそろそろ帰ろうかなって思ってたんだ。
Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure nothing's wrong with my fucking eye. Your boy ain't got money for fucking glasses and shit, bro. Now, I said I was talking about my glasses earlier, but those are blue light glasses. Those will actually help me see. Fujini takes Sakura's hand and starts to leave. Hold on a minute, Sakura. Dinner was good. Thank you.
ご迷惑でなかったら次も頑張りますね、先輩。
Sakura beams and leaves the living room. I can tell my cheeks are burning red. Honestly, Sakura takes me by surprise a lot. It's perplexing. Time sure flies. Not so long ago, she was my friend's little sister, and now I find sometimes I can't quite look away from her. So pathetic. I always thought of Sakura as being family, but I can't seem to readily accept this change. And that is how my day ends. Just before midnight, Shido Imiya must perform the daily routine of utilizing magecraft. I cross my legs, take position, and regulate my breathing. Try to empty my mind. I ignore everything around me and turn my focus inward. Trace on. I mutter a familiar incantation as if putting a spell into place. What? It is as if putting myself in a spell. No, this is kind of hypnosis. With no magic crest and no magic knowledge, the incantation I mutter is really just a way to focus myself and change my body. Typically, humans do not have any lines that allow magical energy to pass through their body. To temporarily change my body to create a pseudo version of the lines, I need enough concentration to unify my entire physical and nervous systems. Magecraft is a battle with yourself. For example, I insert a burning steel rod into my backbone. The steel rod itself is the one and only magic circuit I can prepare for myself. What? By passing this deep within my body and connecting it to my other nerves, I can finally be a mage. What? This is not a metaphor. I figured it wasn't. If you look closely, a series of metal rods, which cannot be normally seen by or touched, pierce my backbone. Hitotsugu Emiya was a mage. He was a true mage who disciplined himself in a variety of mystics, plumbed the deeper secrets of the world and in his workings, and even performed miracles. As a young child, I had admired Kiritsugu and begged him to teach me magecraft. But you can't just become a mage, you have to be born with talent and inherit a tremendous amount of knowledge. And I never had that inborn talent. And Kiritsugu never imparted any knowledge about magecraft to me. I was told it wasn't necessary for me, something like that. I still don't understand what he meant by that, but it doesn't matter to me. It didn't matter to me because as a child, I always thought learning magecraft would bring me much closer to being like Kiritsugu. I was blessed neither with talent, that is, an abundance of magic circuits within me, nor was generations of magecraft knowledge handed down to me. The magecraft Kiritsugu possessed, the mage crest passed down from the Emiya family, can only be passed on to a blood relative. A magic crest, which is proof of one as a mage, rejects any not blood related. As an adopted son, I can never receive the Emiya's family crest. Then again, since I honestly don't have any idea what the hell a mage crest even is, it doesn't matter much whether I have one or not. It's just a matter of gaining the ability. If I want to be a mage, just have to learn magecraft that suits the traits that I do have. Magecraft is, taken to its extreme, a skill supposedly meant to release magical energy. You could say that the magical energy is a life force. Magical energy is separated into two structures: mana, which comes from the world's atmosphere, an odd, which is created from living creatures. Obviously, mana, which comes from the world itself, is superior to odd. The sheer power of the world's mana is simply not enough to compare to the odd of one human can create. No matter the form it takes, magecraft realizing mana will always surpass anything created from an individual's odd. So a powerful mage is one who excels at drawing magical energy from the world. It's a lot like a filtration system. A mage would use their own body circuits to draw in mana from outside and convert it into something useful. Mages call the circuits they use to accomplish this magic circuits. This is the inborn talent part. The number of magic circuits one has is determined at the moment of birth. Typically, humans have hardly any magical circuits. They're normally quite rare. That's why mages will spend generations trying to ensure their descendants have a body more suitable for magic. Some families even go as far as to practice selective breeding in order to increase the number of magic circuits in their children. And since I was raised in a normal family, I never had a chance of having much in the way of magic circuits. That left me only one option. According to Kiritsugu, everyone is well suited to one specific form of magecraft. He also said something about drawing out magical energy based on the person's origin, but I never quite understood that part. What I do understand is that even someone like me can use at least one form of magecraft. If I can do that, then maybe I can be like Kiritsugu. And that's why I've only learned this one magecraft. This was 8 years ago. After a lot of thought, Kiritsugu took me on as a disciple, though he never seemed happy about it.
理解しろ。魔術を習うということは、常識からかけ離れるということだ。死ぬときは死に、殺すときは殺す。
僕たちの本質は生ではなく死だからね。魔術とは自らを滅ぼす道に他ならない。
I guess I knew no fear as a child. Yasuko smiled bitterly, placing a hand on top of my head as I nodded
君
enthusiastically.
に教えるのはそういった争いを呼ぶ類のものだ。だから人前で使ってはいけないし、難しいものだから鍛錬を怠ってもいけない。でもまあそれは破ったって構わない。一番大事なことはね、魔術は自分のためじゃなくて他人のためだけに使うということだよ。そうすればシローは魔術使いではあるけど魔術師ではなくなるからね。
I guess Kiritsugu didn't want me to be a mage. But I didn't care about that. I admired Kiritsugu, not mages. As long as I can be the sort of person who lives to help others like Kiritsugu one day that on the day of the fire in Nightmare. I got distracted. Nope. I read that incorrectly. I thought I was going to continue. I feel like an uncomfortable sensation of iron rod in my backbone moving where it shouldn't. Losing control of my breathing would be fatal. The pseudo-magic circuits would overrun my body and shred it to pieces. And that would be the end of me. Shido Emiya would simply be a novice who died because he failed in an elementary step. I grit my teeth and try to recover my connection. After pain like walking through a storm of needles, the iron rod finally sinks deep into my body and fuses with me. I've been working on this for a little over an hour. After all the time, I'm finally able to create one pseudo-circuit capable of creating magical energy using my own self. Basic structure. Analyze. All this has allowed the magical energy to flow naturally. Shido Emiya is no mage. He's just a user of magecraft who can only create magical energy within his body and channel it into objects. And that's why I can only do one thing with this magecraft. Which is composition, analyze, enhancing objects. It's just strengthening magecraft, where I apprehend an object's structure and channel magical energy to temporarily reinforce its abilities. Basic structure, alter. I hold on to the broken iron pipe. I pass magical energy through it to execute the most basic magecraft to enhance its durability. Passing magical energy into something other than yourself is like mixing poison. My blood is a far cry from the blood of an iron pipe. Forcing an entirely different sort of blood through an object may well destroy it rather than enhance it. To prevent that from happening, I need to properly understand the object's structure and pass magical energy into it between the small vacant spaces. Composition reinforce. This may be easy for a skilled mage, but since I have a hard time generating magical energy in the first place, even a test like this is difficult. It's as difficult as shooting an arrow and hitting a target several hundred meters in front of you. A typical archery target is 28 meters away, so it goes without saying how hard it would be to hit a target 10 times that distance. My body temperature suddenly plummets. The fiery pillar passing through my backbone disappears and my lungs seize in desperate need of oxygen. My back arches in an effort to keep me from passing out. Damn. Failed again. Spiced. The iron pipe is unchanged. The magical energy I passed into it appears to have dispersed. Damn. Adding to something that already has set form is hard. What I'm attempting to do is like adding extra brushwork to a completed work of art. Adding something extra to a completed object raises the risk of compromising the object's integrity. A paintbrush, hoping to improve, may actually devalue the work instead. Which is why, despite its simplicity, strengthening magecraft is also difficult. Not many mages willingly use it. And it's not that I chose this, but it's really all I can do. It would be so much easier if I could make something from shapeless clay, but a substitute that that just recreates its form is all shell and no substance, which explains all the junk around. Whenever I fail to strengthen magecraft, I try to make a substitute objects to practice and calm down on. They all end up empty. I can visualize the structure of an object easily, and I can recreate something very similar, but it's hollow, and obviously doesn't function at all. I'll wipe this one off, my brow. I realize that I'm absolutely dripping with sweat. If this is as bad as it got, I should consider myself lucky. What happened earlier was really bad. If I had taken even a second longer to recover my internal organs, would probably be a mush right about now. If only pushing myself to the brink of death helped me improve, there'd be some hope here. But nothing comes that easily. At the same time, fear of death will stand in the way of improving my magecraft. Learning magecraft means quitting death at every turn. Even rudimentary, everyday magecraft can spin wildly out of control from a single mistake, ending the caster's life.
一番初めの覚悟とは死を容認することだ。
Hitotsugu always looked sad whenever we brought that up. Maybe it was his way of saying that he didn't want me getting into any of this. Saving one person means not saving someone else. Being a hero of justice means you need to be an extremely egocentric person. That was always his line. Hitotsugu always said that whenever I mentioned wanting to be like him. He always said that when I mentioned wanting to be like him. I still don't know what he meant by that. And I'm certain of this, and all I'm certain of is that I want to save people, to be the hero of justice like Hitotsugu Miya. But I can't even manage the basics. I'm such an idiot for letting myself get distracted at the most crucial moment. It's not even for me to just grasp an object's structure visually. A skilled mage would be able to focus on only on the crucial areas and efficiently channel magical energy. My dream is to become a hero of justice. I remember what Fujini mentioned at dinner. I never really thought of that goal as embarrassing or impossible. That Shiro and Miya will succeed, Hitotsugu and Miya, and has already been decided. That's why I've been doing everything I can despite how sorely I lack in experience. I don't know exactly what it means to be a hero of justice. Because I don't know. I've trained myself to the best of my abilities in hopes that I'll be useful to somebody. I haven't taken my eye off the goal these past 5 years. But whenever things go wrong like this, I start to have doubts. I just don't get it, old man. How do I have to do to be a hero of justice? Look up at the sky through the window. It's not just about being good for someone out of the blue. Saving someone and being a hero of justice are two different things. I know that, but what do I have to do to differentiate them? I've yet to understand the crucial concept of for the past 5 years. Yes. Okay, on the account of I'm tired of reading, I'm gonna end stream here. I don't really know what we're doing tomorrow. I said Logan was supposed to join me, and I don't know if that's still happening or not, so we'll see. But I hope everybody's enjoying, almost said Tsukihime. I hope everyone is enjoying, Fate Stay Night. If it does well, I'll continue playing it. I'm enjoying the story so far. We're gonna go ahead and raid into Amy. They're doing Trashy Tuesday, which is something I used to be a part of. I used to hang out with them on that. They're probably watching something incredibly goofy. Like I said, I don't really know what's happening tomorrow, so I will see you guys tomorrow with whatever happens. I hope everyone has a good night. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I hope you have a good night. Later.